And that's us starting session number 30 for this game. I actually had to look because it's like, what session are we up to? So it is session number 30 of the Wrath of the Immortals campaign, with the characters coming from the Atruaghin plateau. So tonight we have one player at the table, at the other end of the table, and 2 people online. We do have a report that one of our missing wayward players will make it in next session, and we will see how that turns out. But we will also be looking for 2 new players at this stage because we are down a few people. So I will get Stefan to introduce himself and his character.
Hello, I am playing Tidal Riff. He is a Water Genasi monk. He is peculiar in some regards and an avid reader of a autobiography which you probably don't want to read. He thinks it's fantastic. And he, yes, has an interesting family life, to say the least.
You've got one.
He does have a family. And next person up we have is Jeremy online.
Greetings, yes. I'm playing Pedadia, a shaman of the Atruaghin clan, but currently on the helping with the quest to find out what's going on in the world. Or worlds.
That's all good. And then next up is Paul.
Who is playing Paul, who is a pretty boy, elven, warlock, healer, sort of talky guy, diplomat, rich dude. And yeah, try to keep people alive, plus vaping things. Family, yeah, not so much. I have some, but they're all at home.
Yep. Well, it all helps in the end.
It do.
Okay, so we also have a NPC floating around with them, which I can actually add in there.
That old cat.
There we go.
Yeah.
You'll hear him every now and then wandering around, voicing his concerns. Okay, so last time we had it, everyone was finally made it to Karamikos. So we have a timeline here that goes into all the various things we've got, and that's basically where we had everyone finish on the 19th of the 3rd month.
Yeah. Now, Karamikos is the basically medieval Europe part of the place, isn't it?
It very much is the. I think more of it like Norman / Roman England, where you've got the Roman leaders and the peasants. Some of them becoming nobility.
Yeah.
And that pretty much fits the setting quite well. Let's see.
You kept the peasants in Transylvania.
Yeah, that's the main difference. So there's
it's pretty medieval with vampires.
Yeah, and werewolves. Don't forget the werewolves. Yeah. And yeah, so it is the year 1005. Which is an important aspect in the storyline. Okay,
Yeah.
so, and just for your reference, I do have the dates you did level up.
Okay, good.
And which sessions, so you can actually keep track of how well you're doing. So between session level 4 and 5 was quite a few sessions. That was that was your delve into the palace underneath Atruaghin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, technically, it took quite a few years as well.
To history it did. Yes. to
What I remember it did. How the world didn't remember it.
No,
Okay.
well,
No,
to us
hang on, no, the other way around, wasn't it?
other way around. Yeah, to us it was like a week.
A few months, but for the whole session, the whole process.
For the players it took a week.
Yeah.
Sorry, for the characters it took a week. Because they went in there and they stuff and came out and went, oh shit, it's been 4 years.
Okay, so
That's right, yes. But he was too old to be a member of the tribe anymore.
so that was the extent of the time in the palace. So it was technically 9 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, nine days and more than 9 sessions.
Yeah.
Okay, so map of where you are. Let's see. It's handy having it all linked and able to be traveled to.
Look, I got a map.
You do.
You have a map? He does have a map.
He does. The old black and white map. Unfortunately, can't actually show that map.
From the blue box.
Which is that map.
That one. Yeah. I've actually got a box set of Karamikos.
The kingdom.
The Kingdom box.
Yep.
Except it doesn't have the book in it. So I've got the maps and the handouts.
So just for your reference, Paul, that box is set after this campaign.
Okay.
So it is set after the Wrath of the Immortals.
Fair enough.
And at this stage, it's just a duchy,
Oh,
whereas
oh.
the box you have, it becomes a kingdom.
Yeah, not that it matters much because without the book, it's basically, oh, it's a cool map.
They do have lots of cool stuff in it, though, if you got all the stuff. Okay, so
But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's got all the stuff, just not the book.
so last we
Which means I
had.
could probably go and get the PDF for it.
You probably could.
Yeah, anywho.
Anywho, last we had it, you had arrived in Kelvin.
Yep.
So, just confirming that you were there, and you had been told about the law against using arcane magic, which, as far as this world is concerned, warlocks are not arcane.
No, because they're all doing it with with outsiders' power.
And the
or
same,
more
and the
power.
same with bards. Bards are not considered arcane either. It is just
Yeah.
sorcerers and wizards are looked down upon because they're
Yeah.
troublemakers. Of course, they're troublemakers.
What's the troublemakers? Bards aren't troublemakers?
Bards are storytellers. We need bards.
Yeah, it doesn't stop them being troublemakers.
You need the bard to help warn people of vampires and the werewolves.
Exactly.
That is true. So,
Yeah.
do you remember what was happening at the end of last session?
Okay. Well, so I think we basically we're just heading into Caravan in preparation for talking to or trying to find some of the survivors of the Gnome Caravan, but also with the intent that we could then move on to High Forge to see if there's any more evidence about the Gnome Caravan at that point. But
Yes.
admittedly, Penadier is much interested in the other goings on around Katamikos at the moment, since the caravan disappeared 2 years ago.
You did notice that the city was remarkably clean. There were no homeless. Everyone was being fed from equivalent of soup kitchen style stuff, no matter what station they were. And everyone's weapons were bound. So they had the equivalent of peace knots on anyone but the armed military.
So do I have to put a little cap over my arcane focus?
And they have stated that use of harmful spells in town comes with a sentence of 1 year minimum.
Okay. I'll try not to wave my hands at people.
So if you were to say fire off an Eldritch Blast, that would be considered the equivalent of a harmful spell.
Well, it is. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is basically the cleanest city either of you have ever seen.
Well, that wouldn't be hard in the case of Penadier.
Well, both of you have been in Darrakan City, which is one of the biggest cities of the region.
That's right, and I wouldn't expect it to be particularly clean.
No.
The idea that nobody going hungry, well, that's not unusual. I mean, they do that with the clans too.
Yep. So the clans make sure no one go hungry.
Exactly.
The clans
Well,
are
possibly because they send their old guys out to be left to the wolves, but that's immaterial.
No, well, that's the thing. They're rich enough; they can afford not to do that.
And
everyone can actually be fed. Particularly if they've got magic, that makes it easy.
the Baron of Kelvin himself is one of the church leaders.
Right.
So there is a church of Karamikos, and he is their leader.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much has stated that no matter what station you are, everyone has a right to food, everyone has a right to shelter.
Nice.
But that's only as long as they follow his religion.
That's right, and
Right.
follow the rules, definitely.
Yes. Well, follow the I'm willing to follow the rules. And yeah. And the local some of the local elves do follow Ilsendal, so and he lets them around.
Wow.
So I think I'm pretty well fine with that.
So if you see on the map, there are just outside of the city on both sides of the river, there's a little writing, and both of those represent the Kalari elves, who are the local elves. They have their settlements outside of Kelvin. They don't actually have settlements inside Kelvin. They've helped design the place, but they do not reside there because they do not believe in the same religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are no dwarves inside, but dwarves have helped build it. So the dwarves of Highforge helped build Kelvin, but they will not reside there either.
Right.
Well, I think from an external perspective, it's just the idea that, yes, okay, Kelvin's obviously a human city.
It is.
Yeah.
Exactly why?
And
I'll come into it, depending on how much you delve into the situation.
And
Religion.
90% of the people in the city are of Phaeacian descent.
Yeah.
which is also unusual for Karamikos,
Yeah.
where it's normally the other way around. Only 10% of any given location would, at the majority, would be Asian descent. Here, nearly everyone you see in town is not a local, even if they were born here.
Right.
But then, considering we've come down the
Oh.
road from Duke Road Keep and Penhaglian,
Yeah.
we may not have seen many native Chaldarans anyway yet.
You would have
Yeah.
seen just most of the conscripts that you were helping to fight in Penhaglian were Troldaran.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have a look here. The Phaeacians have only been here for a century. So this place has been around for rather an amount of time.
So the people who originally settled this place and are the majority of the country also settled Darachan and Glantry, but they didn't actually unify them. The Thiatans are unifiers, so they pretty much made a majority of the countries of this setting by having someone from their descent unify the people against their home nation and turn it into a nation in its own right.
Yeah.
Which is an amusing way of happening. That they are kingdom makers, even though they are not all connected to the same kingdom.
No, but that's the sort of thing they do.
Okay.
Okay.
And you also do notice that there doesn't seem to be any provision for halflings other than along the waterfront.
Yep.
And just about everywhere else is designed for very Romanesque sort of styling.
Yeah.
Well, I would suggest that as we come in, well, I suppose we're coming in with the dwarves, aren't we?
Yep.
Although they're probably, are they actually entering Kelvin, or did they head straight to High Forest?
That they stop in at Calvin before heading off because they are going to cross from.
They've got a ferry or whatever to cross from Kelvin to High Forest.
Yeah, because there's no actual road there.
Yeah. Were we still with the Northmen?
The Norsemen look at the city and don't want to enter.
Yeah, but okay, we were still with them. I had a vague thought that they ended up on the river with the halflings coming, didn't they?
They wanted to end up on the river, but they were told not to.
That's right. I told it was the rapids were too strong between Penhaglian and Kelvin, and as we rode along, we didn't notice any much in the way of rapids. That's right.
You didn't see any rapids whatsoever, and they end up putting their boats into the river just outside of Calvin, and deciding at that point they'll make their leave of you and just head on down the river.
Yeah, because they were heading straight down to Specularum, weren't they?
That was their intent.
Yeah. Well, so I would think that, Penadil will probably notice reasonably quickly the fact that it is almost purely a human city as opposed to the dwarves and elves and things like that, which then will either make it easy to find the survivors from the Gnomish caravan that we were told were still in Kelvin, or very hard, but one of the two.
Okay.
Well, it'll make it easier to either find them or find where they might be.
Yes.
We'll get one or the other.
You asked someone.
Well, it was the sort of thing that he was thinking, we was going to go for a local inn or tavern or whatever to find rooms, but in fact, noting that the halflings will go down there, he'll probably go for one that's closer to the river, would be the intent to get some information. Unless others have got specific ideas as to plans.
No, that sounds like a really good plan, and I'll help talk to people too.
You do notice that they do have sections where there is a guy standing next to a board that has information written in multiple languages on it, and he's standing underneath it.
Oh well, if they've got a visitor's board, then that's certainly a convenient place to look first up.
Yep.
And he seems to be not too far from the main gate, and He's a well-dressed guy in what appears to be finery.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so he's either lost or he's a bard.
So, well, Pettidier will aim to look at the board, ignoring the man.
Mm-hmm.
Working on the idea that I'm sure our foppish elf would be much more interested in talking to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so the board basically has the word information on it in multiple languages.
Okay.
Oh, but it doesn't actually have the information. It's just a case of come and seek in for information. You mean?
Very much so. And you do find it interesting that it has the same word in multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
So
How many multiple languages?
it has it in about 12 different languages.
Nice.
Of which I expect that Pettidier recognises at least a couple of them.
So it will have Thiatin, it will have Troldaran, it will have Dwarven, Elven, it will have Gnomish, it will have Haldanic, it will have Alphatian, it will have Yolari,
Okay.
it will have a few others as well. So basically it covers all the languages of the region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll even...
But it doesn't actually have any information in itself. It's just a signpost to come and talk to this guy.
It is.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Paul, you... apparently you've been shuffled over to talk to them by your friend.
By my compatriots, because I'm supposed to be the one good at this. Well, I am the one good at this. So, face him directly and on my own without being pushed, and let my cloak waft in the wind.
It billows dramatically.
Ooh.
Here's the thing: invoking its effect.
Yes.
Do I roll for mesmerize?
Pardon?
Do I roll for mesmerize?
It's not mesmerized.
He gets a special effect if he billows it at the right time.
Yeah, I know. It's what you're
Yes.
saying to roll for being mesmerized.
Well, mesmerized is a different thing. That's just because I'm cool
No, okay.
and hot. No, this is. It gives me a bonus on first effects when I'm doing interpersonal things like what I'm doing right now.
Yep.
Which is basically persuading him to give us information. So, greetings. I see by your board you're a very useful person for us to speak to.
In what language?
He's got more languages written there than I've got, so I'm not going to show off by using all of them. I am going to use. Sorry, what's the language I normally hear? Phaeacian, I'm going to assume.
Most people are speaking Phaeacian.
Okay, I will use Phaeacian. And
remember, given the current climate of the world, it's probably a bad thing to use Alphatian.
Yeah, let's not do that. Yeah, and I will aim my speaking style to how he's dressed.
Okay, so he greets you warmly and let's see, and recognizes the fact that you are from one of the clans in Atruaghin.
Yeah.
And greets your house.
Ah.
So give me a roll for diplomacy with advantage.
Yes. So could you roll for me, please? So we've got it in the oven. 2d20 twice. Let's go with the 14, shall we? Which gives me 20.
Okay, you make a very good first impression with him.
Yeah.
He says your grasp of Thyacian is better than most elves.
It is part of my job.
And you have that noted accent of someone who's actually been trained classically in the language other than someone who's picked it up in passing.
Well, that's only because it's true.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but hey, we're still looking for a place to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
It says there are many places you can choose to sleep. If you are a member of the clergy, places will be made available for you. Otherwise, we have inns for travellers located on. He pulls out a map and unrolls it to show you the main thoroughfares of the city that follow the road coming in the north and out the south.
Yeah, so which ones could you recommend not to go to, and which ones would you prefer to stay at?
Well, it all depends on what sort of lifestyle you're looking for. These ones here make very good ale. These ones here make very nice wine. These ones here abstain from alcohol completely and have the best food. These ones over here have a curfew that cuts off at sunset, so there will be no noise allowed inside after that point. This one here, they never seem to sleep, but who knows what they get up to late at night, but they've only had to be broken up once a month at this stage. And he would avoid staying in any places off the main road unless you're being invited to by locals.
Well, that's fair enough.
Peter will be studying the map and trying to memorise it.
Yep.
And he says if you ask at any points to a couple of the major crossroads, they will have a information desk available between sunrise and sunset on most work days.
Okay. Many amenities. Much useful. Well, thank you for your information.
Is there anything in particular you'd like to find besides lodging?
Where would we? Because we're looking for a particular group of people. Where would we go if we want to talk to gnomes?
Well,
particularly gnome caravanners.
He points out the gate you just came in. It says if you go up there and make your way across the river and basically ask nicely, the gnomes might let you in. That they've basically removed all bridges since the loss of their caravan.
I see.
You could ask the halflings on the wharf to take you over there, but the halflings have promised not to take anyone over there to the gnomes without the gnomes' permission.
Right.
And
going back up road's the way to go.
Currently, we don't get many gnomish visitors unless they're coming to check on their friends in the hospital.
Yeah.
And where would the hospital be?
He unrolls the map again and points to a large building in the center of the city where it comes for the road going through the city. And he says this building here is the main hospital across from the town hall.
Okay.
And the hospital's actually bigger than the town hall.
Well, that's fair enough. Usually got more people in it. Put that there. So just getting the gazetteer open so I can see what I'm doing.
Yep. I do have city maps, but I'm not using them at this stage.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that important, I wouldn't think. So, if you're happy with the fact that Dimitri was able to memorise enough of the map and that's accurate enough, then we can get around Kelvin without too much problem. That's all I'm interested in.
Well, you can even if you get lost, you can go and ask one of these people, and they will help.
Yep.
So it's amusingly one of the nicest places, yet harshest places to go.
Dulackies are perfect place.
Yeah, as long as you stick with the rules.
Yep. And they also say that considering the guards had not peace bonded your weapons, would you like them peace bonded so you're not accosted by the guards in the city?
That would be favourite if you could do that, please.
Okay, so he uses a complicated knot to tie weapons to sheaths.
Yep. So he's tied my short sword in place.
Yep.
And tied my bow down.
Yep.
Well, I suspect that the bow probably doesn't get tied down, it just gets unstrung.
Pretty much.
Yes, unstrung the string tied with ribbon. So that it's officially unstrung. So I let him do that and totally ignore the fact that I'm also carrying other things.
Well, you do notice that Drazzle doesn't apparently have any weapons visible on him.
Yes.
And he does just look like a tall human right now.
Yes, well, he's good at that.
Leading animals.
Well, it also means that if we want to actually hide something, we ask him to carry it for us.
He has no problems. He's already carrying stuff from other party members.
Yeah.
He just keeps forgetting to tell you he's got it.
Well, it's up to you to remember that it's there.
Well, just so you know, let's see. If you have a look there, there's quite a few items that Drazzle has to sit against him. Most of those came from other people.
Yes, I had noticed that his name came up quite regularly when you were listing magical items when they get emailed out. Oh, Drazzle's got that one too, has he? Oh, okay.
So he's pretty much picked up anything that a character who's left the game has dropped.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, except for the non-magical stuff that the twins left behind, the pair that you collected and returned.
That is true.
Yes. And the stuff that was taken by people when they left and went away.
Yep.
Which is a bit of a poo because one of the spirits of Spider Clan would have been so useful.
They're still in use though.
They are still in use.
That's the problem.
And the problem with those ones are you didn't really want those ones.
No, not those ones.
They have created further problems for the character.
Yes. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Has he been arrested yet?
Not yet.
But he has been taken over.
Oh.
So
he's now a literal murder hobo.
Well, he for a time he was, yes.
Right.
Fortunately, it was a fairly short time.
Well, that they have now awoken, and he will now get extra hit points for killing sentient creatures.
Ah, wonderful.
As long as he doesn't sleep.
Oh, you gods. That's, yeah.
The moment he takes a long rest, he'll probably lose his character.
No, not really. He should be okay.
It depends on how much he's actually taken.
How long he's been going for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as long as he goes to sleep fully healed, he should be fine.
Should be fine.
Should be fine.
Anyway,
is the prerogative word.
So Penadier's of a mind to find an inn probably closer to the halflings area near the river.
Yep. I will follow.
What time of day is it?
It is, you arrived here close to sunset.
Yeah. Okay. So certainly after visiting our hospital. So yeah. I think it's worth finding a place to sleep for the night,
Yep.
getting a meal, and potentially getting some more information from less official sources.
You do
Yeah.
see that there is an eyrie marked on the map when you're looking at it, not far from the hospital and the town hall for the Griffin Riders.
Right, yep. Okay, that makes sense because we've already gone across them, and they're obviously an important element of the security in the whole country. So,
Well, if we've got time at some point, Tide will probably head there.
This is actually the center of their training.
Oh, okay. Which means you could get training in it here.
Yeah, it means I could learn how to raise a griffin.
Yes.
Okay, so you do find one of the locations really close to the gates is close to the river and the waterfront, and it does have rooms for different sized people.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Just so they don't go up to large.
Well, that's fair enough. That's what the that's what the stables are for.
That is.
The ones with or without the griffins?
Without.
I gotta say, these will be without griffins, I expect. Because the griffin riders, I expect, get much better accommodation.
They do.
Well, if they don't like you, they'd muck you in with the griffins, and then take all your bits out afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, so as you're getting yourself sorted out, there is a lot of talk around you about the keep up in the mountains. I can't actually mark it for you, but it's the northernmost keep off the road.
Okay.
Called Castilian Keep.
You mean Castilian Keep?
Yeah, it's the one that Jeremy is a member of.
Yeah. Well, so it's another character, but also one that we heard about as certainly having potential issues with the giants and the orcs.
Yes.
Although it was Penhaligon that was actually expecting the giant attack at any moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, given where they are, I'm not surprised. And of course, if they fall, a lot of other.
So what's the rumours and stories about Castilian Keep then in the pub?
Just that the warriors there are hard pressed to keep things at bay, and that they have a hero of the nation, Dimitri, there that has been helping repel some of the orcs.
Okay.
Kennedy is thinking, yes, this Dimitri fellow must be wonderful, but obviously, in fact, they've got very old news. Dimitri hasn't been there for some time.
Yes.
Unless Martin knows something that I don't.
Well, it's roughly set around this time, Jeremy.
Oh, of course, because we're actually a year behind the others, aren't we? Yes, yes.
So you're actually 2 years behind. Let me see, we're 1 year behind at the moment.
Yeah, so I think we must be 1 year because we're one level.
And it's about, and the information is about 2 years old.
Yeah, no, and okay, that does make sense when I say forgetting the differing timelines that were going on. So.
And people do happen to talk about things that are a couple of years old as if it's brand new news because they've just heard of it.
Yep.
And he's also one of the heroes of the nation, so they do talk about him and refer to how he is the one that makes that place work.
Absolutely. Lucky they've never met him.
Yeah.
Well, they do refer to him as that Theatan lieutenant.
Yes.
Right.
Lucky he's never met them.
So true.
Amusingly, I have none of the PCs in any of the D&D games are Thaiasian.
Really? Not even one?
Not even one. There are 4 different Thaiasian races, and not one of them is a PC.
Okay.
So that's where people keep getting the story confused over time, and he's become a Thaiasian hero.
Sigh. All is confused.
Yes. I thought Jeremy would like that particularly, that they keep getting things confused. And that there's no discussion of him being able to use magic whatsoever.
Well, that's because he's not a wizard. Yes, okay then. So, well, Pedadir will basically be taking the opportunity to pick up the town gossip in the common room as we spend the evening in the meal and a bit of a drink and whatever.
Yep.
And we'll then aim to retire relatively early, like not necessarily, not like it's not. He's not going to be carousing late into the night by any stretch. He's also not disappearing immediately after dinner either.
Okay, so the 3.
Well, hang on. We'll talk to people.
Well, you'll talk to people.
Well, true.
Okay. Pedadir will stand there, like basically sit there and listen and interject occasionally, but normally he's definitely the one that will stand off to the side or sit off to the side and just absorb the information without actually being involved in the conversation.
Yes, well, you're the one doing the memory thing at the moment, so...
So the 4 of you do hear about the 2 missing heroes and the fact that for safety reasons, the artifact they were investigating has been moved to Caravan and put in the vaults under the palace.
Yeah.
The fact that the Baron has a palace is also something that is amusing.
Mm-hmm. True. Most of them have fortresses.
What do you need?
I would love a coffee.
A coffee? Do you want a coffee?
I would offer everyone else a coffee, but it would be a little hard to give it to you.
Just ask anyway, I'll drink yours, it's fine.
So who's going to ask for coffee for Stefan to consume?
That's
Everyone
all right. I'll
should
make
say
myself...
2 each.
Yeah, I'll... That's the thing. If all of us ask for a pint of coffee, Stefan's got to drink them.
Yeah, we'll be calling the ambulance here soon.
But but not for me because I don't drink coffee.
But Jeremy, you can make Stefan drink like 6 of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that sort of person.
It'd be the first time you could order coffee.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I wouldn't want to break my record.
Sigh.
Okay, so the 4 of you sit down at a table. You see that the place is quite busy. The food smells really nice, though it does have an exotic flavour coming in through the kitchen.
And the coffee smells delicious.
And the coffee smells fresh.
Mmm. Yes. One would hope so. One wouldn't want to be drinking off coffee.
Well, every other place you've stayed in Karamikos so far has had stale coffee if they've had it.
Ugh.
Which they just reheat for you.
I'll stick to drinking real stuff. Ale.
And the
Water.
proprietor comes over and says, "Is there anything I can get you, lads?"
What's on for dinner at the moment?
Well, currently we have a halfling chef of renown who has come in from an international tour, he says. And
I'll have whatever he's willing to give us.
Okay, I'll say the special. So that is 1 more for the special.
Yep.
He calls, so 2 more for the special. He turns to Paradir, and how about you, sir? Did you want one of the special as well?
I'd prefer to go with your more standard fare.
Okay, my standard fare is mutton.
Mutton sounds delicious.
Okay, so we got mutton only on the spit last week, so it's still going well.
Good stuff. Okay. Yep. Smells good. I smelled on the way in. Definitely what I'm looking for.
And you see Drazzle orders 2 of the main.
Yeah, well, he's a growing lad.
And you can see his horse is still attached to the cart parked outside.
Probably safe.
Yeah, probably. No one's going to want to nick anything from it.
And
I was more talking about for the other stable, so.
Yeah, well, that too.
Occasionally you see his horse growl at people.
I'm not entirely surprised.
Hazelnut?
And anyone who seems to go near the cart gets growled at by a horse.
Which should scare the hell out of them.
It does. So within a shorter period of time, it is the quietest place around where he parked.
Yep.
The dwarves have not stayed for the night. They've headed north. They basically thanked you for traveling with them and wished you luck on your endeavors.
Yep, but they're not going to stay in this city.
Yeah, they were surprised that the bridge had been taken down.
Well, yes, but hey, gnomes. And being attacked. Perfectly reasonable from their point of view.
Well, apparently it was taken down not long after the Gnomish Caravan was destroyed.
Yes, well.
Which is why we hadn't heard about it yet, because, hey, we just got the news that the Gnomish Caravan had been destroyed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It is very obviously the absolute next place we're going. We've just got to find out some more info first.
Okay. So that they say if you ever make it over there, look them up. They will be staying in Highforge for the next month.
Oh, brilliant!
And you're surprised that they actually offer to shake your hand, considering you're an elf.
Well, I haven't been all snooty at them, as a lot of elves would do.
You gotta go wash that hand now.
But they all avoid Rezel.
Yeah, probably because he's likely to eat them from their point of view.
No,
Well,
they've had one too many.
Or get hugged.
Penedy is happy to say. He can give us one that actually initially made the contact with them.
And that they've all had one too many hugs from Drezel.
So he'll bid them farewell with a firm handshake or the equivalent.
Yeah. And all these dwarves going, I'm far too manly for that.
And they sort of give Tidal a way of going, we love your story, see you later.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me know if you want it signed.
At which point some of the locals' ears prick up.
Oh dear.
And yes,
well, if you charge money for the signings,
a local bard comes over and speaks in a very hard to understand version of Theatin.
Oh god. Okay.
Imagine Eastern European speaking English.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, you're the famous Dr. Azel, are you?"
No.
But aren't you the water person who went and had the offspring?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
the story is about me, but I didn't write it.
Aren't you Dr. Azel?
No.
No. His autobiography was ghostwritten.
Dr. Azel is Wait, hang on a second. Are we pretending Drazzle is someone else right now, or is he?
That's up to you.
No. The first question you've got to ask is it known what race the author is? Because apparently Drazzle is human right now.
Yes.
So
Dr. Razzle,
if Dr. Razzle is known as a dragonborn, then or something other than human, you definitely want to point it out.
Yeah.
And he's released 2 copies of your book. Remember, one was Dr. Azel and one was D. Razzle.
So
it's whether do either of the books have the an author's biography in the dust jacket?
You pull out your copy.
Sure, I'll pull out my copy.
You pull out your copy and you go, oh, that looks different than the one I've got, and he pulls out his copy.
And what's the differences?
His one is Dr. Azel,
Yeah.
You've got the
And-
D-Razzle.
and you got the D. Razzle. And both of them list the author as a recluse who is traveling the world getting stories.
Okay, but no race.
So probably doesn't want to be identified.
And talks about how he will sign books in bookstores at random cities, and you might be lucky and find one of his signed copies.
Yeah.
So I guess I should take this as a hint that he won't want to be known and have this signed. Well, this is not.
So this is about you
What
then.
you could, what you could do is go, I think I've got a signed copy in my bag on your wagon. Could you help me go and get it? Drag Brazel outside, get him to sign the copy you've got, and then go and sell it.
Possibly. It's not a bad
Oh.
idea.
And I'll cover you.
Sure, what the hell. I'll go see if I can get mine signed by...
Well, no. Your copy that you keep in storage because it's signed already.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's why you need that's why you need your friend out there to help you get it, because it's on his wagon. Is where you keep the good copy.
Sure, let's roll and go with that one.
Yes.
I
That
don't
way
know
you
what
can
I'm
drag him
rolling
outside,
for,
get
but
him
there
to
you
sign the
go.
one you've got, and then possibly get him to sign 3 or 4 other copies that you happen to have handy.
Okay, well actually wait for Delicious to ask him because he's sitting right beside you.
I'll put this back.
Well, yeah, just drag him outside.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll ask him if we can go back and grab the signed copy from the wagon.
He shrugs and goes, okay. And it takes you out.
Yep. What, literally?
What takes you out with him?
Well, no,
So it takes you back out to the wagon outside.
I don't know,
He grabbed-
that connotation has different meanings.
he grabs you by one ankle.
Drazzle has been known to take things out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And he buys you dinner at one of the nicer places to
Okay.
eat.
I'll be right back a sec.
Sorry.
Okay, so they're gone for a little bit, and he turns to you and says, "So, do you guys know that has the second book been released yet? Apparently, it's on its way.
Well, I can drink out of Martin's cup.
We've
Who
heard.
cares?
Well, I care. I'm a bard. Telling stories is my livelihood.
Well, you shouldn't need to tell stories from books.
Well, this is a chance from.
True tales get handed down from the forefathers.
Yeah.
But I only had one father. I didn't know you had 4. He says, looking at you with a confused look.
We all have many fathers.
I'll take it. Oh, this one is kind of cool.
Do you come from the same sort of people we do? He says, looking at you with a strange sort of accent.
Fortunately, I come from the plateau.
You come from a
People will know what that
plantation,
is.
he says.
Take that one. It's easier for me.
He seems to be struggling with your words. Basically, for him, it's a second language that he's not skilled in.
No, that's fine.
He sees.
Kennedy is not particularly concerned about making himself better understood. So,
I got the
He says
and he'll return to his mutton.
Do you want mine?
Are you? That's not good enough.
No, just don't.
okay, so not long after you.
Because usually, of course, is Penavir could make himself much better understood if he wanted to by talking in Saldaran.
You
Yeah,
could.
there is that.
So, Stefan, when you get to the carriage and look in the back, there is a pile of books
Okay.
from each edition.
Okay, I'm assuming Jazzle is with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, his horse would probably try
on
to
their
bite
way
you.
out, did they hear the question about whether the second book had been released yet?
They did. Drazel ignored it.
Yeah, that's what they say.
If the second,
Whether or
if
not
the
they come
second
back with
edition
two
hasn't been
books.
released, I shouldn't be using the second edition. So I'm going to assume it's whatever it was the previous edition.
Okay, so he pulls out a copy of the Dr. Azel that he signed.
Hang on, which is my version?
Your is the D Razzle.
D
Yours is the
His
D
was the
Razzle.
Dr. Azel.
Well, he's got both. He's got a pile of both books in there.
I mean the Bard dude.
The Bard dude, yes, he was talking about the Dr. Azel.
Okay, so I need one of them.
He was also asking about the second book. Not necessarily the second edition, but the second book.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm getting confused. Because I need to bring back the same copy he has, otherwise it's going to be weird if I bring back the wrong book.
Well, Joel says he has this one.
Oh. Okay, cool. So,
He obviously not from this nation.
no, he's a travelling bard.
He probably from Glantry. This is where I released this book.
Okay.
Mages there have good printing process.
Right.
Print lots of copies.
Right.
Did you get lots of money for it?
What's money?
Never mind.
What you use to get them to print it for you?
So,
Hugs.
in that case, I'll see if I can get Drazel to sign.
He's already signed it.
Okay.
He's got a pile of signed copies.
Yep. And then I will head back to the bard dude.
And apparently that you even had spent a time signing in that you forgot about. So they're signed by you and Drazel.
I signed this one? Okay. There you go.
You do remember that you had spent some time drinking with him a while ago?
Oh yeah, that happens sometimes.
Stop carrying on.
Okay. I'll return to Sir Bard and hand him the copy and show him it is signed by myself and Dr. Razzle.
He thanks you and says, "Oh, so what do I owe you for it?"
Sorry. Oh, sorry. If I could sneak that out.
When the time comes, I will let you know.
He looks at you confused. A future favour?
A future favour. I mean, you are a bard, is it not mysterious?
That is mysterious. Especially considering what you've done in the past. He turns to chapter 5.
Which chapter is that?
What would you like it to be?
The one about my wife.
He knows about your past. That's why he's concerned about offering a favour in the future.
Probably.
Yeah. I think I may have to write my autobiography so Drell doesn't.
Well, he's got a great publishing network. He can probably talk to you about it.
That's true.
But you might have to reference the books to find out how much is written about you in.
Actually,
not your
I
autobiography.
know exactly what I want.
Yep.
Well, actually, no, what I'd be doing is dramatising our adventures, with each adventure being basically its own chapbook. So there'd be multiple volumes. So you'd be following along, you'd be collecting all these, like, 100-page books. They won't be very big. And you'll collect them the same way you do westerns. You have shopping bags of the thing.
Yeah, so Stefan's piping up here.
So what I'm thinking is,
Sorry.
that's all good. Before I tell him what I want, I'm probably pulling the rest. I'm assuming the rest of you are here.
Yes.
Okay, probably pulling you guys aside and basically discussing with you. So we have a opportunity now to either have a traveling bard sing tales of our endeavors, or I could just make this about my book or my endeavors. Which would you prefer?
I like the idea of the first one. As
So-
long as the bard involved is good.
Our tales,
Goody,
our
another talker.
endeavors. So
Yeah.
which one? The our tales?
Our tales.
Okay. So
what could be more interesting right now, of course, is what does he know about the Gnomish caravan disappearing?
Well, that too, yes, I suppose. But this is an opportunity. We get to have songs sung about us.
Yes, I know, but he can also tell us songs about what happened to the gnomes.
Yeah, but he already knows those songs, probably.
Yes, but he can.
So what happened to the gnomes?
Is that what you asking?
Peter basically looks up from the conversation over to the bar, nearby. Okay, yeah, what happened to the gnomes?
Oh, that's an interesting tale. And where would you like me to start?
At the beginning, continue through the middle and get to the end.
Okay, in the beginning, the gnomes were created by the god Dengar. At least that's what the dwarves would like you to say. But after speaking to the gnomes, we believe it's actually Gar Glitter Gnome who had decided to spite the main dwarven god and create a sub race of dwarves who were smaller.
Right.
And Gar Glitter Gnome is supposed to be the father of the gnomes, and that's where the gnomes started.
Okay.
Let's speed that story up a bit and get to, recent times to do with the caravan.
Yes. Sorry, we should have asked about the caravan. Yeah.
I still think this is a missed opportunity to do with the songs, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well,
We'll get there.
Well, if you really let me speed it up. So, many things happened, and then the gnomes eventually settled in Highforge. This became the center of some of the tinker gnomes in the region. Apparently, the dwarves do not believe that gnomes exist on their great mountain. So this is where the dwarves of Rockholm send their representatives to talk to the gnomes. So this is the seat of power of gnomishhood in the region. And as they have developed, they decided to work with the primitive humans of the region and started making toys to please their children.
Okay.
So nearly every adult of the region has grown up with the fact that if you were good and you were not known for harming or teasing gnomes, you might end up with one of these gifts in your lifetime.
How excitement.
So, and basically, if your family was known for abusing gnomes, then no one in your family would get one either.
Well, that sounds fair enough.
So, generations started growing up who would go out of their way to assist the gnomes of Highforge because of the better standing you had with the gnomes, the more likely you would receive one of these gifts every year. So it was become a common practice of every time the caravan came to Specularum that there would be a celebration of their travels. And each town they passed through would throw a party for them. And they would be able to then sell all their extra wares in the capital before heading home. And this practice has gone on for about 200-300 years at least.
And then someone messed it up.
Yep.
And it's the messing up is what we need to know about.
And so in the last few years before the caravan stopped, apparently dangers were getting worse, and the guards were carrying more and more weapons, and the caravans themselves were getting more armored. And they were apparently delivering weapons to the Duke.
Right.
And there was some resentment coming through the community over the fact that people who thought of these gnomes as beloved were supporting the usurper who had taken over the kingdom.
I see. So resentments.
And the caravan itself apparently was under attack in greater numbers every year. And no matter how much armor it had, it was always turning up to the capital with damaged or lost members. And then one year it just didn't show up.
So always losses, and then it stopped.
And the year it didn't show up was the year the gnomes dismantled all the bridges leading across the rivers to their kingdom.
I can see why they do that.
So, were there any rumours as to where the attacks were coming from, or who was involved?
And where?
I mean, the way the bard's described in the story, it sounds like some sort of Chaldaran resistance type force, but...
The Chaldarans blame the Thiatans. The Thiatans blame the Chaldarans. The elves blame the goblins. The... well, everyone blames someone else.
Yeah. Did the gnomes blame anyone?
There were the gnomes that, as far as we know, there were no survivors.
But like I'm talking, like from the attacks that were like they were saying, they were, for a few years, the caravan would always arrive a bit battered, having been attacked on the way. Did the gnomes talk about where the attacks came from or who they were?
They'd always been attacked on the road, and they'd always hired adventurers. But the adventurers that they'd normally hired had been missing for a couple of years.
Yeah, but did the gnomes say who they got attacked by?
They got attacked by monsters is basically what they said, and and they left it at that. There were like scratch marks, there were scorch marks, there were arrow holes or other sort of damage on their vehicles as they came into town. But what actually happened, the gnomes wouldn't talk about it to the people.
They say obviously left room for rumours and everyone else to fill in the blanks as they fix their foot to fit their own narrative about who are the bad guys in the Legion.
Yep, and since then the only people who have been going in and out of Highforge has been dwarves and halflings.
Okay.
So halflings provide the transport and dwarves go in and out, but you don't see anyone else going in there. No gnome has really come and gone in numbers.
In a long time.
Well, it's been over a year since the last one came.
Yeah.
So it was last year that it finished.
We had some rumours that there were a couple of a couple of survivors were actually still recuperating in the hospital here.
Oh, I'm sure that's just rumours. There's been no proof of that. They also had rumours that dragons came down and ate the caravan, that a leviathan crawled out of the ocean and battered it to pieces, that the trees came alive and squished everyone in the process, that the river turned into a giant serpent and swallowed the caravan whole.
And all of them happened at once.
And they all supposedly happened on different dates.
Right.
So listening to his tale, it sounds like he believes or disbelieves the rumours as he's implying. He doesn't appear to be hiding anything.
Give me an insight roll.
Well, I get the impression we're not going to get enough useful information here. We have to go and talk to the actual gnomes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I just wonder whether he's coming through with the...
Oh yeah, but he believes it.
Insight 17.
Okay, so with your looking at him and listening to him, you realise he's not a local. He is basically someone who is himself passing through, and also seems to be investigating himself.
Okay.
And he seems to have targeted you guys as someone to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Investigate in a generic sense, or investigate specifically looking into the caravan?
You think investigate as in asking questions of and finding information about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Hedadir is certainly, let's say, one who, let's say, is not particularly involved in the conversation, or he interjects only occasionally into the conversation, let's say, deliberately aiming that, yes, he won't be providing much information about himself or his fellows, although I expect that the fellows will provide more than enough information for his requirements.
True.
But yes, any information or insights he receives about us won't be coming from Hedadir if he can help it.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Because let's face it, being an ex-watchman, he's used to
Watching and not talking?
but also conducting interviews to gain information rather than provide information.
Yes. Well, yeah, at a streetwise level.
So does Tidal want to ask any questions?
Does that then mean that was the favour?
He says, sure, if that's what you want for the favour. He shakes your hand.
No, that wasn't the Nevermind.
Are you sure? You want to go to Nevermind? I've never been to Nevermind.
No. I was hoping we could possibly have you sing our tales of adventures.
Sure, I will sing of your book.
I meant our tales as a group, but...
But it does refer to your friends in here.
Yes,
And the sequel's supposed to go into more detail.
but probably not in the way they like.
History never looks at people favourably.
Out of curiosity, Martin.
Yep.
21 on history. The reference to Nevermind, is that actually a genuine thing in Mystara? As in one of the Gnome cities?
You have heard of various gnomish cities around, and there may be one called Nevermind, but no one ever knows where it is.
Right, okay.
Because
could you give me a roll? I'm going to do history.
Gnomes have a habit of saying, "Oh, never mind about that place," and it's like,
well, I mean, that just did. It is specifically in Dragonlance. The Gnome city is Mount Nevermind because the gnomes told all the humans their name for it, which went on for umpteen hundred syllables, and the humans said, "Oh, Nevermind." Oh, that's a good name.
You simplified it for me, thanks.
So when you said Nevermind, I thought, hang on, are we introducing that into here as well? Because if it was a genuine Gnome city, then you might be interested in someone who'd been to Nevermind, and or if you knew of Gnome city, then...
Well, if it didn't exist before, the gnomes would quite happily make one.
He does know of a fallen gnomish city called Torkin's Falls near the Three Fires volcano.
As I said, it's all right. It was all internal for Penadir, just to find out whether or not this guy might have known more about the gnomes than we'd obviously previously thought. So, but yeah, I'm happy that it's not something he knows about, or either way. So,
yes. I think if we're going to have somebody sing our praises, we should give them our stories first, rather than have them make them up.
Well, that was part of the plan.
Yes.
But I'm not known for my communicative skills.
Yeah, but I can do some of them.
Okay, well, you can then ask our friendly bard for that favour, and I'll just let him know that that is my favour.
Well, I'm happy to tell your tale of renown and interest. So I've been hearing these tales about this Dimitri guy.
Dimitri?
Yeah. A local hero.
Is that the chef?
Hasn't been around for a while. Apparently, used to escort the caravan into Specularum on a regular basis and then stopped showing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
you did?
Dimitri's one of the other PCs, isn't he?
He did at least twice.
Did he? Okay, so I don't remember it, so I believe you.
Yeah.
And
but also, whether he had or not, wouldn't get in the way of a good story.
I know. The best thing about a story is it doesn't have to be true.
That's right.
And they do say that the first year he didn't show was the year the caravan didn't arrive.
So maybe he didn't survive it, or he caused it, or yeah.
Well, except for the fact that you know about Dimitri, or at least you've heard current stories about Dimitri. He's up fighting in holding Castellan Keep.
Yes, that's a point.
So
So we can actually update the bard with useful recent info
well,
if we want to.
You can.
I would have thought the fact that since we'd heard the stories about Dimitri while sitting in this pub where he is, I would have thought he's probably heard those stories as well.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I forgot when we'd heard them. Yeah.
I'm just going to heat some food up for myself, so I can still hear you, so keep going.
Alright.
Well, okay. From Penalty's perspective, he wasn't necessarily expecting to get much out of this evening particularly. It was more a case of, see if you can find out, confirm more information. Apparently, like his thoughts would be that yes, we should try and see if we can see the gnomes in the hospital, although apparently, based upon our bard's information, although how much he really knows, considering how long he may not have been here for, what he knows may be very suspect, but I would suggest we should see if we can see the gnomes, and otherwise we may wish to try and partake of the offered hospitality of the dwarves sooner than we expected.
Well, wouldn't hospitals have records?
Yes, they would. Especially dwarven ones. He's very good on records.
Well, this one isn't a dwarven hospital, but
it's
obviously a very order-bound human hospital.
Yes.
Yeah,
considering this town.
That's why, being human, if you mentioned gnomes staying in their hospital or something, that's a significant event that hopefully someone would remember something if it was true.
Well, I mean, our friendly information guy said that. Oh no, he said where the hospital was, didn't he? We didn't say we were looking for gnomes in the hospital.
You didn't ask him.
Yeah.
No. And on Peredy's behalf, that was certainly quite deliberate. So I don't mind.
True. Right.
But yeah, I would think that yes, Peredy is happy to be, as I said, sitting, listening to the tales of the tavern for a few hours, and then heading upstairs or wherever, up to the room for a bed, after having kept on the elk just to confirm that it's still comfortable in the stables.
Your elk is quite comfortable in the stables, though they weren't quite built for his horns. He does have plenty of food and water.
Yep.
And the groom's boy looking after it is brushing it down when you check on him.
He obviously saw me coming.
You see, it looks like he's been brushing him down for the last half hour. Well, some of these horses do take a while to do properly.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Or in the case of one of them, polishing.
Mm-hmm.
Or as I say, it's obviously a case of that he noticed the intrinsic nobility of the elk and decided it needed special treatment.
Of course. Or he just spends so much time avoiding the damn thing.
Probably that too.
Yes. Well, that's a big head of very, very sharp objects he's got on his nut.
He also seems to polish its antlers.
Oh dear. You're a very proud elk then.
Well, it's not very often people do that for him.
True.
Okay, so did you want to do anything else before heading to bed?
Is
Trying to say that Penalty's not stopping you guys staying up carousing all night.
is the chef still there?
Yep, he's still there.
Is he still busy cooking, or is he?
He pops over to the table and starts asking people about what they thought of their meal.
Yeah, I assume we ate his meal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it was very good, and I'll hand him another gold.
It was a bit spicy. You're having trouble, talking properly after reading it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good one.
I'll just then kind of nod with slight tears in my eyes and hand him a gold, and kind of with a thumbs up, kind of say thank you.
Well, he says where that dish came from, it was considered a compliment if you couldn't talk after you ate it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I'll make sure I've tipped him a gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot for a meal. But hey, obviously worth it.
Okay, and apparently you find out afterwards that your rooms were paid for by the dwarves as a thank you for travelling with them.
Oh, okay.
Even better. That's
So
they
they didn't
you the gold you just spent.
They didn't tell you at the time.
Yeah. A surprise gift. Excitement.
No, so Penalty's thinking, oh man, maybe they won't be quite so willing to help us to get across to see High Forge then. They think they've already paid their dues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else anyone wanted to do before sleeping?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't mind talking to the Griffin Rise, but I guess I can do that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So they may not be staying in this pub.
Yeah, no, it'd be a bit of a walk from this pub.
Yeah, they'd have their own really.
Somewhat more upmarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as it starts to get dark, you see magical lights start to appear along the main street.
Oh, right.
Oh, they've even paid for that as well.
Obviously arcane.
Well, could be demonic, but that would suck.
And they give this golden glow when they come on, and you have it almost like a choir.
It
Right,
seems
that's not demonic.
Well, to the point that I was being sarcastic in the sense that it's definitely not arcane either.
Yes, in this case it's clerical. Yeah. Clerical continual light enchantments.
So it's basically it sounds to you like a chorus of cherubs singing the praise to the night.
No, wonderful. Okay.
But it's sort of this slow. When it comes on, it's surprising, and it comes a slow hum that everyone else just gets used to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the hell do people sleep in this city?
Well, it only happens once.
And it is comforting and soothing.
It's like some
It's
mass comforting
For those that are
spell.
used to it.
I don't like
It's
this.
such a nice place to be if you're local.
I think if I wanted to be calmed, I prefer it was calming by my own will.
Yes.
It's almost
On the other hand, at least two of us are wearing items that do that for us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, yes. Never mind. I'm enjoying this.
Everything is awesome.
Yes.
Everything is awesome.
Yes. Well, it's you and me. From memory, Peridot isn't wearing one.
No, Parody had nothing to do with those the dragons at that point.
Yeah. Well, you don't have anything with blissful on it.
No.
Just we end up with a whole bunch of stuff with blissful on right at the beginning.
Yep.
I know, it was funny. Okay, so you notice that the magical lightings go along the streets, and you see a couple of guardsmen walking along with a brighter glow above them as they walk.
Okay.
Basically, on the end of a spear as they walk along.
Fair enough.
It's a weird spear halo thing.
And you do notice that everyone else seems to be hunkering down for the night at this stage.
Yeah, because this strikes me as the sort of place to have effectively a curfew.
Well, assuming we didn't stay in one of the pubs that didn't sleep.
Yeah, that would be one to avoid. Seeing we actually want to store. What we want to do is stay in a pub that's about a block down from one that never sleeps. So we can have fun for however we like and then actually sleep. Because that seems to make some sort of sense.
And you do hear the shutting of the town gates with the coming on of the lights.
Yep, fair enough. They do that. Seeing I don't need as much sleep as they do, I'm going to study a bit while they're doing that, working on my next bit of skill, and or learning songs to sing.
Okay. So, Jeremy, are you sleeping with your elk?
No, okay, he would have actually just confirmed the elk was comfortable. It certainly looks like the sort of place where things should be, order is maintained. So he's happy to sleep in the accommodation. So.
Well, you find your room very much military organised. Simple bedding, clean room. Unlike a lot of places, they don't actually have a straw mattress. So
that's right. That's certainly better than he was expecting, or like needing. So,
but it is a pallet and it is hard.
That's right. No harder than the ground.
But it is comfortable.
Which is better than the ground in a lot of places.
Well, there are no rocks to move out of the way or twigs.
I was going to say, the plateau is always comfortable.
Yes, which is why you sleep on your elk.
And so you do find the order and pristineness of the place quite different than what you've been used to.
No. Wait. No. Sorry, telling a dog off.
My cat has chosen a new place to hide, so he doesn't need to interfere at this stage. Okay, so as you rest for the night, you wake up to the to a angelic choir.
Okay.
With the rise of the sun, so no rooster. There's a choir.
Great.
So everyone knows it's sunrise.
This is one weird city.
Well,
yeah, it is a bit.
Penadier will aim to rise before sunrise, with the intent of then walking back out, going back out to the town gate, and expecting the gates to open at sunrise, but basically duck out into the slightly less urban civilised area, i.e. just outside the gate, to conduct his morning devotions.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so as Pradia walks to the gates, he does give me a perception roll for him.
Perception plus 8, 20.
Okay, so he does notice that there are angels floating above the city, and that the gates itself has an angelic seal on it that's glowing.
Because that's not partial.
Well, the town is well defended in the evening, apparently. So, but like I say, Penadier will be basically waiting at the gates with the expectation they'll open after the apparently after the angelic chorus.
And when you see the angelic and hear the angelic chorus, you see all the angels above the city fade away with the coming of the dawn, and the seal on the gate disappear as well.
Okay, am I seeing some of the gate guards nearby ready to open?
So that they come out at the sounds and start to unbolt and unlatch the gate.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I will bid them a good morning as I while they're at work, and then yes. Okay.
They greet you warmly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And so they won't be much longer. They just need to go through a couple of checks before they open the gate.
no rush, all good.
And you see that they get a few calls from people up on the wall, checking outside again. And then the gate slowly opens.
Is there actually anyone outside who might have missed the gate closing time? Waiting to get in?
There are a couple of people waiting outside the gate to come in. And they're basically a bunch of travellers.
Yep. Okay.
They had arrived a couple of hours before dawn to get in.
Okay. Yeah, well, as I said, Penadier will basically, move outside, conduct his morning devotions, and come back in again in half an hour, whatever. So,
Yep. You do notice that if you look off to the east of the city, there is a great marshland there.
mm-hmm.
And the area around the city itself is quite tamed,
Yep.
as it is the meeting of three rivers.
Yep.
Okay, so you have a relaxing time. What does Tidal want to do?
Good question. I mean, if we haven't left yet, I'd like to go see the Griffin Riders and see if
Yes.
Cassius is still there.
Yep. Do you wait for Parody to come back?
How long was Parody going to be gone for?
He was just going to go do his morning prayers.
Is that like an hour or something?
Basically, Penadier left before you guys woke up.
Oh, okay.
And would be basically coming back in if you guys have breakfast in the common room area.
Yeah,
He'll
we'll
walk
do that.
in during that time type stuff. So
Yeah, that's
We'll
fine.
have one.
I'm
We'll have
happy
one
to do
waiting
that.
for you. Yeah, we'll have one.
I mean,
waiting for you.
certainly it wouldn't be surprising at all that like whilst he wouldn't normally disappear or leave you guys to do his morning devotions, it wouldn't take much effort to think, well, hang on, maybe he worked out that morning devotions in the middle of the city is probably not the ideal options.
Well, this city does feel very sterile compared to everywhere else you've been.
Yes, it's nice, but sort of thing.
Okay, so
Not to mention the fact that it is somewhat influenced by a different pantheon.
Yeah.
so you have a wonderful smell of freshly baked spice bread when you wake up in the morning. So foods that you've never tried before are on display, and the common room is packed. You see more halflings in here than most of you have seen ever. That rarely have you seen them in such numbers.
Obviously, the food is very halfling oriented at the moment.
But more interestingly, obviously the reputation of this tavern, or possibly this cook, has preceded them.
And a table has been set aside for you, which amusingly is the only clear space in the whole tavern.
Because of Drazzle.
Drazzle's sitting there, yes. He's not wearing his disguise.
He's not in disguise.
People are giving him room.
I'm assuming that when Penadier left in the morning, it wasn't nearly this busy.
It wasn't this busy, no. It only started to get this busy while you were out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
Yep. All we're having their breakfast. because they're too slack to make their own.
Drizzle had ordered you food.
What did Drizzle order us?
Heavy on the meat.
I'm not surprised. Good solid breakfast of a lump. Yay.
And whatever
Good sauce.
whatever other people don't eat, he's more than happy to help finish off and help them.
Of course he will.
Benedict's happy with a nice cooked breakfast.
So you have an amazingly tasting meal.
Yes.
And the locals are all chatting in Troldar and around you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all the halflings are.
Yep. And that's is one of my languages because it's my work tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my accent's rather different to theirs.
You do know that the halflings of this region have lost their native language.
Yeah.
The dwarves basically eradicated it.
Yeah, which we found out on our trip down when the
The
who was
chef.
it? Our halfling cook was singing.
Yeah.
Much to their annoyance.
Which made the dwarves feel embarrassed.
Because he was getting a bit snarky about things.
Well, most people do when they feel their people have been persecuted.
Especially when they have actually been persecuted and proudly by the people who did it.
Okay, so the everyone cheers when each of you enters the room.
Okay.
And down's a shot.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, obviously this is before Benedict gets here, but his immediate response would be, obviously your bard's been hard at work.
And you notice that
Yeah.
the only people currently in this establishment are halflings, besides Drizzle.
And us.
Oh, but the chef's also a halfling.
Yep.
Oh, that might have something to do with it.
Yes. Yes. It would have rather an amount.
And you do notice that some of the locals do talk to Drizzle.
Oh, okay.
They seem to have dealt with him in the past.
Well, he has travelled rather a lot. And yes, he's one of the few people who can do so solo. Especially since he's not actually solo.
And you do notice he can actually he does use their names.
Ah, so he knows them well. And or has good memory.
So far, you've not seen him forget things.
Yeah, good point.
Which makes him, noting and writing things down interesting. He doesn't have to write it down at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you have a nice meal. Brady walks in after his devotions and everyone cheers and downs a shot.
Okay. Is the chef there?
Yep, he pops out. Says, "Oh, how are you doing, Tidal?"
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you for breakfast again this morning.
That's okay. The locals wanted to, celebrate my arrival.
Is that what's with all the shots?
Oh no, that's because non-halfling entered the room.
Oh, is that a game you have going on, or is that just a...
Well, look at it this way. It doesn't happen very
It's a
often
halfling
when I'm
thing.
in town.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
Because I've been told my food can be lethal to non-halflings.
Is that a compliment, or is that...
I don't really care.
Okay.
I've just been told that, so most of the locals here stay away when I cook.
That's a shame. You cook pretty well, so...
I know. We get more people in this way.
Ah.
They take up half the space, he says, giving you a wink. And they eat more
vertical,
than...
They take up the same ground space.
They take up half the space and eat twice as much.
That's a positive thing.
So
It is if you're selling food.
And so every time I come through, I don't have to pay my way.
Excellent.
I just cook for a couple of days, and the inn makes about a month's worth of wages in 3 days.
That's
Nice.
pretty good.
And I move on to the next place.
That's fantastic.
And you end up with very happy inn customers.
Wouldn't you
And
want
make
to,
lots of friends.
wouldn't you want to do the same thing?
True.
So any of the people here would be happy to answer questions to you because I've told them you're my friends.
Well, that's very useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All good. And they know where to go if you abuse that trust.
Yeah. So no casing people's joints, that sort of thing.
No, he says, no, that's my job, he says as he walks out.
Okay. I don't think he was thinking the kind of joints I was thinking. So, what are we going to ask the halfling?
Well, I want to know where he's going next, out of curiosity.
He calls out as he's heading towards the door. Are we heading to Speculum in a couple of days?
Oh, cool. Maybe we'll see you there. Don't know. We'll see.
Apparently I've been offered to cook for the Duke, he says as he walks out.
Nice.
Or cook the Duke, not quite sure yet. Bye.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
terms.
Does not surprise me.
Side.
You realise, of course, that he may not have meant or, he meant and or.
Yeah, these are details.
True. Yes. Little unimportant details that have no effect on anything. Oh dear, what was that?
Well,
Hell.
as I say, me personally, I would think that possibly one of the important things we've interested from the halflings right now is confirming whether we can arrange passage across the river to Highford.
Yes.
Hopefully after going to the hospital.
So there is a young halfling lass with long flowing red hair comes over and says, "So, I hear you're looking for information about the region."
We are that.
Always worth having news.
Well, my brother there, who cooked quite well, said good words about you.
Well, we hope that it continues to be good words.
I'm sure it will.
Yes. We do try and be the good guys in general. I mean, at all times.
Good, bad, otherwise. As long as you don't treat me badly, I won't kill you, he says.
We keep getting that from people.
Well, deal for family of assassins, die a painful death is one of those sayings we have.
Yeah. So that identifies your brother.
Hey, I haven't killed anyone today, I'm doing well.
Well, I'm presuming no one's paid you to kill anyone today.
What pay? I do it for fun.
So, not entirely an assassin some of the times.
Well, yeah, I'm the black sheep of the family.
I see. So I'll try not to act like a piece of fun.
He looks you up and down and says, well, as an elf, you wouldn't really be a challenge. Yeah, so
I have a look and see how many magic items is she carrying or wearing.
okay, she does it actually tell you how many? Let me have a look. Detect magic.
Yeah. I think it shows me everything in the area. I can't remember offhand.
Okay, so she has a aura around her when you do detect magic. You
Yeah.
use a first level spell. Do you use a spell slot to do so, or you're using the?
I'm using my special ability, which is why I'm not casting a spell. I'm just using it.
In which case, yes, you do sense that she has magic on her.
Right. Any idea how much and how powerful? Well, I don't know if detect magic tells me that.
You can see a faint aura around her that she bears magic,
Right.
and it is abjuration, meaning
Right.
protection magic.
Yeah. Unfortunately, without real spells, I can't tell what it actually is.
I know.
Yes.
Hey, look, it's much better than Pathfinder 1, where I actually put the fact that it's like ding or cross. Yes, do I sense magic? Ding! Where's the magic? Within 30 feet.
Yeah, that one's worse, isn't it?
It is.
It doesn't. It's not especially informative.
And when
No.
you level it up, you get to know which 5-foot square the magic you detected is in.
Exciting.
I know.
And if you know of magic in the area, i.e., on yourself or other characters, with extra effort, you can exclude that effect.
You can, yes, but you have to know what the effect is to exclude it.
Right.
So if someone casts light on something and stick it in their pocket and don't tell you, you won't know, and you'll keep dinging on that.
Oh, God.
I
Yeah.
know, I love it.
It's high. Let's get a spell and make it. Let's get a spell that wasn't very powerful and make it less powerful.
And they split it into 2 spells.
Yeah.
You have to take magic and read aura. If you don't have both, you're pretty much messed up.
Yep.
So, yes, she says, I am happy to be your guide while you're in the region. I normally work out of Verge, but I heard my brother was coming to town, so I thought I'd make an effort to come and see him.
Well, the family, it's a good thing.
Yeah, well,
Really?
most of the family stays away from Karamika since I'm here.
So, yeah. So that they treat this as your stomping ground.
Well, pretty much. They have this thing about unexplained deaths reflecting badly on them.
Well, yes. So let's talk about goblins. Not goblins.
Well, I can tell you about the best place to stab a
goblins are
goblin.
different types of fun.
So, the best place to get the goblin is right behind the left ear because they go down the fastest.
And they've got big ears. It's an easy thing to hit.
But you got to get the right spot, otherwise they might twitch for a while afterwards. And then if you skin them the right way, you can actually have a goblin costume without any damage anywhere.
Sounds like it could be a skill of use.
I have a feeling that this is something she's done more than once.
Yeah, well, it does sound like the sort of thing she's had practice at, yes.
Peter is just thinking, well, I'm glad we're not at home. We'll have to worry about the laws around here are a bit different.
Well, actually, I think it's just she's so good she's never been caught. Because this strikes me as the sort of place where someone like her would really not be allowed.
Do you ask her?
As long as she doesn't use arcane magic to do it.
Or weapons. Yes. Hi, how do you peace bond my hands?
She doesn't appear to have any weapons on her.
Of course not, she's an assassin.
Well, I would have said apparent psychopath, but that's potato.
Well, assassin trained psycho, but we're not going to mention that.
And
that involves ending up with a second smile.
she was also the one who had served you.
Yeah.
Which you're realizing just now after the fact she picks up your empty plates and takes them back into the back before coming back to answer any further questions.
Yeah. So, first actual major question right at the moment is, what is the best and what is the easiest way to get to the Gnome settlement from here? Please.
Well, from here is there's always at least one gnome in the hospital tending to their friends, and they can send word across, and the gnomes will tell you if they will welcome you in their settlement or not.
So going and being persuasive.
Not normally, it's just, don't be a dick, she says.
Yeah, well, that I do try and do that on a professional basis.
So professionally, don't be a dick is a good way of going, she says, giving you a wink.
Yeah.
Penadier makes a snide comment to Title saying, "No, I'm doing so poor."
I'll just nod and then shrug.
So she looks over at Tyler and says, "So you're the one they wrote that interesting smut story about."
Yes, it's great, isn't it?
I thought it was a bit unrealistic.
But it's still fun.
I don't know. I sort of read it, and then threw it away.
Title's not going to claim that every word is true.
That's okay. All to one's own is fine. I still think it's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
You can't help everyone.
no, it's only dramatised a bit.
Just a bit.
Though I see you've met Drezel.
I have, yes.
Yes.
He's a
First met him
very,
some time
very
ago.
good friend and interesting character.
Well, yeah, I met him while adventuring at sea.
Out of curiosity, has he told you his actual full name?
Yes.
Okay.
I found it very weird, and I told him stop. The second time he tried to explain it to me.
Did you know that not using his full name is an insult?
Yep.
Right.
So I call him Mr. D.
How is it not insulting?
Which
How's it
is
not?
a reference rather than a name, and he may take it. I don't know.
Tattle seems a little bit confused at this point.
Look, we're all lesser races to the dragons, so if we insult them, they go, "Oh, it's just children."
Yeah,
They treat you as a child.
I guess.
Maybe when you grow up old enough to be, wise enough to be noticed by a dragon, they might actually take you seriously.
I suppose
Or
so.
eat you.
Yeah, I'm
that's-
working on that.
So for most people, that is probably when you reach medium to old age, will they consider you a knowing better. But considering you're still in the child years of your life, you can get away with insulting them without having them try to kill you.
Yeah.
They don't attack children.
Excellent.
You see, that's why Penadier doesn't actively insult him.
Yes.
He just really refers to him.
Just passively.
And I just do polite stuff because it works better that way. Plus, I'm actually studying dragonology, so doing that sort of thing is a good idea.
And the fact that dragons rarely give their full name.
Yes. Mostly because it takes a while. And of course, all these younger races never get them bloody right.
Yep. They can't roll their R's well enough.
No. Well, they get my name wrong too.
So, where are
Nobody
you?
ever-
So you want to go to the High Forge? I can go speak to the gnome for you if you like. I'm very persuasive.
I believe we wish to speak to, go to the hospital first and see if we can have a word to the gnomes that apparently are still there.
Well, if you want to, I can wait here for you guys. I have no mind. I don't mind. Having a little gnomish discussion before or after breakfast.
Oh, if you don't mind, it would be lovely. We'll go off to the hospital, find out what we can, and come back.
Okay. I've got the rest of the day to myself anyway.
Sounds good.
She goes and sits in a corner and puts her feet up, and the table's clear around her.
Yeah.
They all know her quite well, apparently.
Isn't it nice to have renown in places?
And you notice as soon as she puts her feet up, everyone else at the table starts clearing their own plates.
Okay. So yeah, she's got them cowed.
Well, no, they recognise she's on break and she's not worth calling over.
Yes, she's got them cowed. They're not going to interrupt her for something that is actually her job. Because she's not doing that right now.
She's on break. Okay.
And you see her pull out a different book and start glancing at it. Not one of Title's books.
What? You mean there's another book in the world?
I know, right?
From this distance, it seems to be 101 interesting ways to kill people.
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been how to cook for people.
Or without the 4 on it. How to serve man. Let's worry about that. She's a cook. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Benedict is happy to enjoy breakfast, but he's somewhat keen to get to the hospital to see whether or not we are allowed to speak to the patients.
Drizzle happily clears the rest of the plates up and takes them up to the counter. Whether you're finished or not.
I thought she'd already cleared our plates.
She had cleared some of them. They cleared everyone's who had eaten before you got back.
Yeah.
And he clears the remaining.
All good.
He feels like more snack. That's fine.
You can hear him crunching on one of the plates on the way to the counter.
Oh, it saves on washing up.
Okay, so he comes and follows you as you head out.
Yeah. Right, off to the hospital.
Okay, so you have no problems finding the hospital. It is in the center of town.
Yeah.
And across from it is a very nice looking official building for the town hall, flying a flag of Caravan as well as a flag of Karamikos.
Okay.
And above it, it has the flag for the church of Karamikos.
Mm-hmm.
And when you reach the hospital, you see that it has 2 full plate knights either side of the main entrance in full regalia.
Yeah.
It's the first time you've actually seen knights in this city.
Yes, and they're wearing very large amounts of metal with very impressive sharp objects. So, we go in.
As you go to go in, one of them stops you and says, please identify yourself.
I am Claude Damer of Darrakan, and an adventurer at large, and these are my friends. I introduce them.
And what is the purpose of your visit, Llewell?
We have a travel requirement to talk to a gnome that we have been informed is presently in the hospital.
You will find him in the. You'll find him on the lower floor in the 3 corridors to the left.
Thank you very much.
And he steps aside and lets you through.
Mm-hmm.
You can see him pull out a ledger and start writing stuff in a ledger.
Mm-hmm. Right, So we go in and go down and go to the 3 doors.
Okay, so again, this place has a strange smell to it of alcohol, sort of alcohol clean.
And sharp soap.
Not so much of the soap smell, more of an alcohol smell.
Mm.
And everything
Alcohol's cheaper.
And everything here seems to be very plain.
Yeah.
So it's not designed as an ornamental place, more as a functional place.
It's very austere.
Yes.
And you can see that it's well signed.
Hmm.
And the door he sent you towards has no writing in Gnomish,
Yeah.
but no other language.
And no other language. Well, we don't know what it says on the door, but it looks like the right place. So let's knock on the door.
The door opens and you see a gnome standing before you with a long beard, looking up at you.
Greetings, good morning, and welcome to the day.
Yes, it is day, isn't it? How are you
Yes.
doing? And why are you knocking?
I introduced myself.
Oh, Mr.
we've been-
Llewell, I've heard of you before.
Yeah, from a certain redhead.
No, I heard of you from a visit to some of my friends in the community.
Yeah. 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 We have been advised by by a member of that community to come and speak to you for.
Oh, come in. Don't stand in the hallway. Too many eavesdroppers around.
I see. Yeah. What is it you work on, by the way?
Me, I tend to the gnomes of who fall ill and attended here.
I see. Oh, a noble calling.
So if you'd all step inside, I will shut the door and reset the wards.
Ah, very well. I usher the others in.
Yep, we'll follow in.
Okay, when he shuts the door, you see the back of the door is covered in runes.
Okay.
And they glow once he shuts them.
Mm.
So, now that
You
we're
appear
guaranteed some
somewhat
privacy,
concerned about security in this area.
I don't like eavesdroppers.
That's fair
And
enough.
whatever harms the gnomes I'm caring for here has tried to kill them on more than one occasion.
Oh. Well, that's basically why we're here.
And the Baron of the place has started summoning angels to patrol the skies at night to assist.
So
Yeah.
the choir is a recent addition?
Oh, the choir is normally there, but the number of angels have been increasing on a nightly basis.
So someone's been beefing things up.
Mm-hmm.
So, can we see, are we actually in a room with the, like I'm guessing a somewhat private room?
So you're
With one bed, or can we see any others, or is this just a foyer where we can't actually see any of the patients yet?
You're in a foyer. You can see that there's another set of doors further in which have glowing runes on them.
Yeah.
And this has couches, seats, a table, a little kitchenette, and an office. All in this one little area.
Yep. Well, he doesn't take up that much room. But yes, he's got it set up so he doesn't have to leave the place very often. Yeah. So yes, we are actually here for pretty well the same reason you are, particularly regarding the attack that stopped the Gnomish caravans. We've been investigating that.
Well,
What are you wanting to find out? I have talked to all the survivors. Most of them generally can't actually respond to you or gibber when they do.
Or gibber.
Yeah.
Somebody said them insane.
Yes, most of them are insane, if not completely mindless.
Oh, well, that sort of puts a bit of a colour on what actually happened to them.
They show signs of a strong magical attack, which we're normally able to repel. And whatever did so either did with the benefit of demonic power or with aberrant power. Or maybe a mix of the two.
Yeah, it sounds sort of arrogant and chaotic.
And if anyone in here was exhibiting any of those symptoms, you would be on fire right now.
Ah, yes.
And it has happened. He points to a scorch mark on the floor.
Well, you did mention that there had been further attempts on the lives of these poor fellows.
Yes. Apparently, what did the job didn't do it cleanly enough and is trying to finish off those that survives before we can save them.
Yeah. So, have you got any idea on who is causing the attacks on them now?
All we know is they are of some sort of demonic power and only come at night.
Right.
Darkness is their friend.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that before this, what turned out to be the final attack, well, on the caravan itself, obviously there's been further attacks on the survivors of the raid, that the caravan had been hit in previous years.
It has. The escalation of violence on the caravan has been going with the gnomes having to escalate the amount of weaponry that they carry and utilize. So that
there are various rumours as to who might have been carrying out these attacks in the previous years. Do you know more accurate news to who was? Because presumably there'd been survivors, and the survivors were not necessarily quite so afflicted in the mind, since they were still able to distribute their presence when they arrived in Specularum.
Each year it has been summoned creatures who has come after us since violence was increasing. The caravan itself could form a circle which would create a barrier and stop said creatures from encroaching on it. Though while they could not enter the circle, they could still damage the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And the circle had held for many years, but had taken a wear on our caravans. And we think just eventually they managed to break the circle, and once the circle was broken, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
Certainly, it sounds much more serious than the stories of simple bandits or monsters that had been going around. Is there a reason that you've been hiding the truth?
We haven't been hiding the truth. But the thing is, who's going to believe some spiritual entity is appearing and attacking just the gnomes when there are human settlements nearby that are completely untouched? So they would rather blame each other than blame a third party. Because I've seen them point fingers at each other, and every time gnomes try to leave in large numbers from Highforge, we tend to get set upon by creatures in darkness.
Yeah. So yes, this is rather more serious than
Do you know of any such third party that would have such animosity towards your race?
None that we know of, but why would they just suddenly start attacking us now?
He's certainly curious.
We have done nothing different except we have been giving out more of the gifts to children in the last few years than we have normally.
Well, again, the rumours were suggesting that your quantity of gifts to the children had decreased, directly proportional to the increase in weaponry that people were claiming you were providing to the Duke or to whatever enemy they wished to discuss at the time. You're suggesting the extra weaponry was merely for your own protection?
We were actually taking weapons with us that the Duke had commissioned from the dwarves. But they were taking up no extra space because we had space on the caravans already.
Right.
So we actually were packing more and more toys to help with the changing world to try to make life better for people.
Someone objected to this.
But we also lost most of our toy makers in the incident.
Ooh.
What you mentioned the changing world. What do you mean?
Everything seems to be getting darker. People are getting more suspicious of each other. Have you seen how the Troldaran whispered that the Thaiatians are responsible for everything? And how the Thaiatians whisper about how the Troldaran are lazy and don't want to do anything? How the elves are blaming humans for a world going crazy? About how the dwarves seem to ignore the fact that gnomes exist except for Highforge? About how the werewolves of the forest seem to be growing in number, about how vampires seem to be appearing in greater numbers, about how the other shape changes are appearing throughout the world where previously they were just rumours and innuendo, and how the dragons seem to have picked up and walked away.
Pendidir will be subtly stamping on Luel's foot or jamming in the elbow or something type stuff every time he tries to interrupt this flow of potential information or news about what's going on in the world.
He seems to be saddened by the fact that dragons seem to be leaving the world.
Once he's finished, then Luel can certainly say whatever he wants to say.
Yes. But yes, and yeah, yes, yes. There are bad things happening in the world, pretty well everywhere, and everyone, we all should do what we can to do something about it, which we are.
And in the meantime, the gnomes of Highforge have decided to turtle and have removed any way for an army to approach them.
Yeah. Seeing we're attempting to do something about this problem, is there anyone that we should talk to or go and see, or a place we can go to find out more so we can actually be a bit more effective?
Well, you could go talk to Baron Calvin himself.
He apparently appears to be supporting your efforts, having called in the extra protection of the angels.
He has been. It's just a struggle for us because what are we going to do? We don't. He can't protect all of us. He can't protect everyone all the time.
Yeah. So going to him and offering ourselves as some more help would probably be well received.
He is always happy to talk to people.
So Baron Calvin is patriarch of the Church of Kalamikos, correct?
Yeah, he is one of the patriarchs. He is one of three.
But I heard from that there are other faiths in this area that are competing with the Church of Kalamikos?
Yes, there is the Church of Troldara, based on the faith
Okay.
of the ancestors of the region.
And my understanding is that they're the natives of the region and that's the original religion?
It's an evolved religion of them. He has seen some of their religions change over the years, so it's more the heroes of their religion formed a religion of their own, and so they're worshipping the heroes of their people, not their gods of their people.
Mm-hmm.
So Halav that they worship currently is not their original god.
And so, yeah, so Paladin is certainly interested in getting understanding from this guy as to how much he knows about the human religions in the area, and therefore, how much he knows about what's going on and stuff like that. If he appears to be knowledgeable and understanding and not hesitating in his recollections or things like that, Benedict will also inquire as to whether or not there are any other faiths that have developed prominence in the region or anything.
Well, he goes into detail about a whole number of faiths that he knows of, because he basically is a cleric of the dwarven religion. He does say that it's not really a dwarven religion, it is a shared religion between dwarves and gnomes, but they like to claim it as their own. They have been here since long before a lot of humans had developed their own, but the humans are currently following the Church of Karamikos, which is based on the Thaiatian religion.
Yeah.
The Church of Troldara, which is based on the Troldaran heroes. There is the Cult of Halav, which dates back to one of the previous religions, and that is a fairly new one that talks about the fact that they believe Duke Karamikos himself is the reincarnation of Halav. The fact that they both share red hair is he's sure a coincidence that they've caught on, but that is a common theme of the hero of Halav, is he was a red-haired hero. Though he believed it was more red gold than red copper of your of the current Duke. The dragons themselves have their own religion that is spreading from the swamp area. As the discussions of the Black Dragon and the Dragonborn from that region have been seen in the area. So there is the discussions of those, and that is a fairly recent one, because previously there were very few worshippers. There are the worshippers of the giants. Who have been showing up and trying to preach in town, and those ones don't last very long, because they're technically breaking the law to preach their religion here. I'm technically breaking the law talking about it here.
We didn't hear anything.
Well, I was also under the expectation or belief that yes, you appear to have set up reasonable courses against such things.
And the halflings practice their own religion on the waterways, so they don't believe in this Thaiatian religion. They don't really think that calling your gods Thar something or Thar something else is a great way of getting about it. We do have some of the Yalari religion floating in here from Yalarum, where they keep praying about the water god of Al-Qadim and Proteus. please follow our good savior Proteus.
Yeah.
Because apparently someone managed to claim one of Proteus's tridents as a ancestral weapon of the Church of Karamikos.
Of course.
Humans are silly creatures, really. And
I look beatific at this point.
and they have two other weapons of note that they have claimed as part of their church. The sword Black Razor, which was created by those associated with death and destruction, and the hammer Whelm, which was created by the dwarves, and is one of their symbols of leadership. So they have each of the major estates and clergy have one of those items. So the Baron himself holds Black Razor because he doesn't want anyone to use it. He believes that it is an item of last resort.
Well, for one of those things, I would say yes.
So it is supposed to be stored in the vaults under his palace itself. The hammer Whelm is used by the Baron of Threshold. And the last item, the trident, is held by the Patriarch of Speculum. So it is sitting behind their pulpit, so visible by anyone who goes in for a sermon.
Yeah.
It's the only one that is pretty much accessible to the people, though very few people get to touch it.
I'm not surprised.
Besides that, there's also lots of different people showing up saying they worship gods that none of us have really heard of in detail, but I'm sure they exist. There's lots of gods out there right now. Apparently they're all active. And I've even had visitation from Masakine about a certain elf coming my way.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, and which is why you were allowed into the room, because you announced yourself as I was told you would.
Thank you.
And why I was willing to answer your questions, because he said to help where I could.
Well.
And lastly, there is rumors of a army building in the Black Eagle Barony. So
the Black Eagle Barony
is close to the Five Shires. It is a place where the cousin to the Duke resides.
Okay.
And is basically a place no gnome will ever go to anymore. We no longer trade with them.
Right.
Certainly during the conversation, Pettidier is particularly interested in discussions or rumours of new religions, i.e. within the last 10 years or so, have been popped up. In fact, something that Rephilan with Redrian was particularly interested in. So the discussion about the cult of Halav would be somewhat outside of that time by the sound of it.
It is in that time. It only started about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Right.
And he also does point out that the attacks on the Caravan happened around the same time that trade with the Black Eagle Barony broke off.
Right. So, cause and effect, that might be something to do with it.
But so in that case, inquiring a bit more about this Black Eagle Barony is to, apparently it's not a nice place, it's got a particular reputation or things like that. So again, obviously, looking at it from a completely outsider's point of view, but certainly willing to catch up on the news quickly.
He does talk about the court wizard of the Black Eagle Barony known as Bargle the Infamous. Give me a history roll.
Right. Oh yeah. Could you roll me a d10?
There you go.
No. That's pretty boring.
It's a 6.
Yeah. 11. Wonderful. No, 12.
You got 22.
Okay,
Oh.
on an 11, you have heard of Bargle. He is that well known.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Wow.
So Bargle himself, from what you know on an 11, is a wizard operating out of Karamikos, and he is known for challenging other wizards and beating them.
Okay.
So he is known to be quite powerful. From Jeremy's perspective, you have heard of Bargle. He is pretty much the power behind the Black Eagle Barony, and known to dabble in demonic power.
Oh, fun.
And just confirming that, say, our gnome informant said the cousin of the Baron, or the cousin of Duke Karamikos, as you'd say, resided at Black Eagle.
Yes.
Am I aware that he's actually the Baron of Black Eagle?
He is the Baron of Black Eagle. He's Baron Ludwig von Hendrix, the power, the power that is the throne, whereas Bargle is the power behind the throne.
Yeah.
Without Bargle, the Black Eagle Barony would have fallen years ago.
Well, it's the sort of place that doesn't make friends, and yes, the efforts that have been there to eliminate it have been stymied by the presence of Bargle.
Well, the Duke does not believe that his cousin has done anything, and there's been no one able to provide proof to the Duke, and be around for questioning.
No one survived to actually give evidence.
Pretty much.
That sounds like a job for adventurers, doesn't it?
Many adventurer has died trying.
Well, I didn't say it was good for every adventurer, and it's whether you survive or not. But yes, it's definitely a job for adventurers.
And he also does mention to you that there is talk of fire worshippers coming back into the world. But those religions seem to and cults seem to start up and disappear without lasting very long.
Well, fire is often ephemeral.
It's also something that his god has forbidden.
Yes, so fire is also easily suppressed if you know what you're doing.
Sorry, did you say his god had forbidden, or the gods had forbidden?
He said his god specifically had forbidden and asked him to help stamp out.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. So that's it. It was just, I thought you said that the god generally had forbidden fire magic. I thought, okay.
Not fire magic, the fire worshippers.
Yeah.
Or the fire genasi, as the case may be. He says, looking over at the title as the water genasi.
Yeah.
They almost destroyed the world twice. He will not get. His god has said they should not have a third chance.
That sounds valid.
They destroyed their own world. They should not destroy ours.
Also valid.
Mazikini's not happy with them.
Yeah. Things to think about and plan for.
Do you believe that it is potentially the influence of this Black Eagle Barony and Bargle the Infamous, who could have been behind the attacks on the Caravan?
It's possible, but it is quite a reach for him to get us on the Duke's road.
from the Black Eagle Barony. If his reach is that long and he's still affecting us here, then he has grown quite powerful indeed.
That's more power than any one person should have.
And he's not displayed that level of power in the past. Something has changed if he has it now. I would not want to go up against him if he has that ability.
But I get the impression that the Black Eagle Barony have made a number of enemies, and again, is there like would the Gnomish Caravan have been such high on the list that he would want to spread that far when he hasn't for others?
If he had that power, the town of Lewin would have been destroyed by now.
Indeed.
And they seem to be the settlement besides the halflings that they are most concerned with.
So again, the Black Eagle Barony has higher priorities on their potential hit list if they had the capability than the Caravan would be. So potentially it would seem that the start of the attacks occurring during the increased potential possibility of Black Eagle is somewhat coincidental.
But it's a coincidence we can't investigate because gnomes can't travel in numbers, and we and anyone of any of significance has either retreated or is staying within the wards.
Yeah, because otherwise they get flamed. But yeah, so it sounds like it's.
Do you know if the attacks have been occurring around Highforge itself, or only have the attacks only been occurring while the Caravan was on the road to Speculatum, and or upon here at Kelvin, where survivors of the attack still reside?
We were able to retrieve some of the survivors and bring them to Kelvin, but the attacks on Highforge and here have been increasing in numbers and strength.
Yes.
So it's not every night. It's not every. Sometimes we can go for a week or two without any form of attack, but the attack is always stronger and harder each time.
So when were the wards on Kelvin last seriously tested?
Since the Baron himself got involved, they haven't been put under too much of a test, but it has limited other people's power in the region. So anyone trying to use divine magic not of the Church of, not of the Theatan faith. The Church of Karamikos is really a branch of the Theatan faith, so anyone not of the Theatan faith will find their magic not working as well in this region.
Right, plus they arrest anyone who uses arcane magic.
They do arrest other magic users as well, but they don't talk about that. It depends on what you're doing with the magic.
Yeah. So I'll stick to healing people if I use any gold.
Even healing, if you're using a different faith, will not be as effective here.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pain.
You can imagine my belief as well.
Yeah.
If I was any higher up in this building, my magic would not work.
So I get the impression that every single warlock is going to have a problem here.
Every spellcasters of all different types have
every caster except
except one from the Church of Karamikos / Theatan.
So even a warlock of the Theatan belief system will have their powers at full power here.
Yeah.
And Bargle is unknown determination. No one knows where he was actually from.
Right.
So how long have you been at Black Eagle?
He was there before the Black Eagle arrived, we believe.
No one knows how old he is.
Right. Okay. Which leads to a couple of different ideas.
And he does take to the field, which is surprising for a wizard.
Yeah, particularly one who expects to stay around for any length of time. Of course, it does mean that they have an artillery piece on the field.
Apparently he's successful, so...
Yeah.
He has been known to travel with packs of orcs, hobgoblins, trolls, and occasionally giants.
Ah, so a friendly guy.
Well, he knows how to make friends, anyway.
Yes.
I believe he's reputed to be extremely charming. As his preferred type of spell.
I was going to say. It's charming in capital letters.
Yes.
He does make Prince Charming an interesting concept when all he does is use enchantments.
Yeah. Yes, I try and avoid most of those because I want to be able to have some diplomatic relationship with whoever it is afterwards.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to care.
Well, no, he wouldn't. But yes, it's why I don't have things like charm and things like that, because when it wears off, the person knows who it was.
So outside this region, I have heard of rumours of the nation of airbenders, the Alphatians, getting upset with the fire people of Galantry again, and coming up with another excuse to start yet another war.
I fear they're more than rumours at this stage.
Who understands politics when it seems to be about how do I fight and make people cede to my will. The Alphatians have always been conquering and forcing you to adopt their culture.
It does appear that there are certain cultures out there that are trying to divide up the world between them.
Well, in comparison, the Phaeatans seem to take your culture and make it part of their own.
Pardon?
They're more than happy for you to be different and celebrate your culture. And they'll even take your gods into their pantheon of gods. Though the Alphatians will outlaw just about every aspect of your culture and force you into theirs.
Yeah, empires are a bit of an issue.
Either way, happy the tribes focus upon their plateau. So, you suggested that we speak to Baron Calvin. Do you suspect he'd be willing to talk to us readily?
I can give you a letter of introduction.
That would be lovely.
I just can't come over with you myself.
No.
Apparently, understandably so.
He goes over to a desk, pulls a sheet of paper off and signs it, and hands it to you. Apparently it's been pre-written. He has a pile of pre-written introductions.
So what you're saying is that Baron Cole was getting bloody sick of having his friends come and talk to him.
Well, he's got enough time on his hands, he tries to prepare for contingencies.
Especially when glance through the letter of introduction and says, fill in blank here, has been my friend forever.
Yes.
I vouch for him in every way, and yes, please give him all courtesies and information required.
So you mean the contracts we have with Drazzle?
Yeah.
And basically gives you, reading through it, it is the equivalent of
the gnomes are requesting an audience with the Baron for the person bearing this letter.
Okay.
Right. Well, it probably can't hurt.
And it is generic, so...
That's right. So, it's certainly uncertain as to how much value it will be based upon how often he's actually provided this letter. So, but it's more of an entry into the doorway than we've had previously.
That's true.
So, well. Okay. Penalty, I can't think of anything else right now that we want to talk to him about.
Says you're welcome to return at a later date.
I was going to say, I'm assuming we did actually find out his name. I can't remember if we
He
actually
never
did
gave you a
that
name.
or not now, but...
We didn't get an intro. We introduced ourselves.
Well, so if it didn't actually happen, or the characters have forgotten the name, I'll look at the bottom of the letter of introduction.
Yeah.
Letter of introduction is signed the Doctor.
Right.
Right. Is there a blue box in the corner?
But yeah, did he provide a name during the initial parts of the introduction processes?
He did not. He seemed to gloss over it on purpose.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, well, as I said, I introduced us, and he didn't introduce himself, so I left it.
Okay. Well, okay. As we're departing, Pettidier is not such an etiquette on that side of the house. So I'm terribly sorry, I've forgotten your name.
Oh, that's okay. Just refer to me as the Doctor, and everyone will know who you're talking about. I'm the only gnomish doctor here.
So I should refer to you as the gnomish doctor?
No, just the Doctor.
Everyone knows who the Doctor is.
Surely there's more than one doctor.
They've all got names.
I'm the only one who doesn't use a name.
And fair enough, considering gnomes are being targeted.
Yes, it's one of the few protections I have that very few people here know my actual name.
Yes.
Well, apparently we won't necessarily need to get directly over to High Forge.
Yeah.
Yes, potentially, if we can talk to the Baron, the issue may actually be more readily traced from here than it is from the High Forge itself. So,
True.
but so yes, we are almost certainly we'll see you again soon, Doctor.
Well, High Forge is a good way of getting gnomish transportation because that is where they build a lot of their high-speed transports. So all their mail carriers are built there.
Penadier mostly hides a slight shudder at the thought of going on gnomish transportation.
Yeah, I'm not
He's
going to
seen
hide
that
it.
before.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the floating city has arrived.
Floating city.
Yeah. The gnomes do have a flying city. You do know about that, don't you? He says, looking at you.
Have I heard about that?
You have heard rumours of it in talking to the gnomes. It is,
But obviously they were tall tales.
what you heard when you're
Or
talking
flax and fancy.
to them
Jeremy?
is they have built a city using one of the engines from Radarian's starship as its lift.
That's right, he did mention that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have heard of it, and basically,
So Redfern mentioned it.
it on standby can run forever, and it on standby can hover.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so Redfern mentioned that the gnomes had a city using one of his engines.
Yes.
He has
Because that certainly
mentioned
sounds like a problem with the idea that Red Gnome was concerned that there was possibly some remnant of his ship might have been
abused.
part of the problem, wasn't it?
That is correct, yes. But he says there's more than one item from his ship in use.
Right.
Okay, so he unlocks the door for you. And you see the runes all go dark as he opens the door for you.
Yeah.
And he hurriedly gestures you out.
We get out quickish and let him close the door.
And you can hear a hum as the door shuts.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you weren't knocking on the door, you think it would actually burn you.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that door is probably the most magical thing I've seen for a while.
Or possibly it'll freeze you if it's defending against fire creatures. So yes,
The energy does feel radiant.
Yeah, I'm not surprised given he's actually radiant rather than fire.
It is radiant, yes. And
Yeah,
well, no,
he's a cleric.
He's a cleric. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Well, that was some unexpected information there.
Yeah.
There appears to be more to this gnomish caravan than first met the eye.
Much more. So.
Well, Tidal, you were keen to see some of the Griffin Riders, were you not?
Well, if possible.
It looks like potentially we may get a chance if we have to go and to the Patriarch residence.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll head outside the hospital type stuff as we're talking quietly to ourselves. And
as you go to head out, the guard at the entryway stops you again and asks you to identify yourself.
Kennedy will leave that to
will.
because he's the one who identified us initially.
I will
Give you
do
way too much information. Although probably no less than they required.
All I said was my name. I'm an adventurer. These are the people I'm with.
Yeah, no. As a player, no good at all. And as a character, it probably worked out that you needed to give that information as far as I needed it. So.
Yeah. Yes, you would have preferred I just said, I'm Raw, what do you need? Or I'm Raw, what's it to you?
And then he asked you, and who have you visited?
The doctor.
Okay, so you notice out of the corner of your eye that the other knight has a book out and nods in your direction, and then he lowers his hand and says, "You may leave."
Thank you.
As you do so, you sort of feel a barrier part.
Right. So yes, cross-checking on who we actually went to see. So if I told her it was somebody else, we'd have been stopped.
Or not been able to get out.
Well, it's interesting the fact that apparently, yes, there are more than one level of wards on the hospital.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely surprised. It's a place to be careful of.
Well, okay. Kennedy is a bit surprised at the level of support that's being provided, or the protection provided to a hospital. So,
yeah.
How big was this place? Does it look like there were many other patients?
It looked like there were. It would probably cater to about 100 patients at least. It is multi-level building. It is one of the biggest buildings here. And it apparently caters to people of all walks of life.
Yeah.
So they have a wing for children, a wing for pregnant women, a wing for owls, a wing for dwarves, a wing for unusual animals.
Interesting.
So the hospital...
And some of the patients survive.
So it also serves as the animal assistance.
Also a veterinary hospital, huh?
Including for familiars.
Yep.
Well, probably not that many familiars. Since they're much more of an arcane thing.
They are.
No, true. But yeah, beast companions.
Okay. Penadir will look around the square for a moment at the hospital, and then walk over to the ubiquitous information stand.
Yep. You see a rather charming-looking young woman with long red hair.
All the redheads, lovely.
Most of the redheads are the Carendan Thaiatians, and they're listed among the core of the nobility. She says, "How may I help you, sirs?"
Interestingly, the fact that obviously it's part of the structure of the town is that service to the people is an important part of. If even the nobles have to do it, so
yeah.
But you have a feeling it's a requirement that the nobles have to serve.
Yeah.
Or they're not allowed to stay.
Noblesse oblige actually means something.
Indeed. What was I thinking of? Yes. Greetings, ma'am. We were interested in gaining an audience with the Baron.
Says, yep,
you know what sort of process we need to go through?
Depends on what sort of thing you're wanting to ask him for. Firstly, there is a request that can be put in at the town hall. She points over across the street. They will assess the urgency of the mission, and then you'll either be taken to his palace or his keep, depending on the matter at hand. And there's also, if it was considered a nuisance, seeing the jail. But generally very few people want to be of nuisance.
Strange, though.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And I guess by the sound of it, the process could have been worse. I was half expecting it. Well, yes. Fill out Form 17A in triplicate, send it to the clerks over there. They'll do Form 1642.
Yeah.
No,
but make sure you take the red copy of that form over there to it.
Depending on which person you meet, some of them do treat you that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you have urgent business with the Baron?
We do.
Do you have anything to assist in gaining an audience?
We have a letter of introduction.
May I see the letter of introduction?
I show her the letter of introduction.
Okay, she has a look at it and nods in your direction and says, "Okay, so I should be able to help you get a bit further along. I will just, if you wait here for 10 minutes, I will go get someone to take over the stand."
Thank you.
And you see her, she pulls out a whistle and blows it.
Right.
And you see a couple of guards come trotting over.
Okay. So we'll stay here and I'll just raise the tone of the place.
I gotta say, the guards trotting over with intent, looking, yes, we've now got some more miscreants to get the bloody Gnomish friends.
Well, they seem to be coming over directly to her, and she has a quiet word with them, and one of them comes over and stands by the sign while another one heads. The other one heads towards the town hall across the road.
Cool.
And so she goes. She then returns to you and says, "Okay." So she hands you back the letter
Thank
and
you.
says, "If you follow me, I will see to it that you are seen straight away."
Excellent.
Okay, and she starts heading deeper into the city.
Follow along.
Indeed. So,
Right.
As you're walking along, following her, you do notice that all the citizens and guards give way to her.
Another reason to have nobles doing this job. Nobody messes with a messenger.
And within a few minutes of walking, you notice that it's only locals on the streets now. She's taking you into the places where the tourists don't go.
Yeah.
right. But I'm assuming we're still seeing almost all humans,
They're pretty much all humans,
Okay.
yes.
or in fact, effectively nothing but humans.
Yeah. So I sort of stand out a bit, and Tidal stands out a bit.
Even Pradius
And
stands out a
And
bit.
Grazel stands out a lot.
Grazel stands out a lot.
It sounds like a radical group, nothing but humans.
And you find yourself very shortly heading towards what appears to be the martial center of the city. There are 6 of the Griffin Knights battle ready on top of the edges of the building.
Yep.
And it appears to be with a full squad of guardsmen outside, weapons ready,
Mm-hmm.
and she's leading you right towards this place.
Right. So either we're about to be slaughtered in our boots, or things are just really impressive and we'll get let inside.
Okay, so from the looks of the place, it appears to be a warehouse of some sort.
Yeah. A warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inside, you see a whole bunch of clerics moving about what appears to be the remains of carriages and automation.
Right. So they're doing reconstructions on the or investigations of the goblin. Gnome attack.
Well, the caravan, the Gnomish caravan that was attacked.
Yes.
That's interesting. What did the letter say again? Didn't it just say that, hey, please have a talk to these friends of the gnomes?
And you see in the center of it a tall, lean guy with handsome features, piercing blue eyes, dark brown hair, and a trim mustache.
Cool. I think I'm looking.
And
I was going to say that, yes, I'd like to, if there was any opportunity while we're on the way there to get a broad bit feel for what the Baron was like, but apparently not.
And he looks quite stern as he's looking through and examining things with and talking to people there. As you come in, they all stop and turn and look in your direction.
Okay.
And you basically feel as if you've visibly passed through some sort of air pocket.
Okay. Either protection for them or protection for everybody else.
Okay,
Or
so
possibly both.
But so in our and they say potentially having not done it deliberately or looking around, but in the last 12 hours or so that we've been in the city for, or even in the lead up to the city, do we know what the Baron of Kelvin looks like?
no, it's the first time you've met him.
Well, the point was whether we knew whether the description was actually fitting what we knew. But okay, that's cool. We didn't know anything, so we'll assume.
He's also dressed in clerical robes.
Because he's the high cleric of his religion as well.
Yes.
And it seems to be over full plate with the helm removed.
Okay. And he's wearing this just around. Okay.
It does look as if it has seen battle recently.
Yes.
So he's wearing it like
Also,
that.
the ceremony regalia.
Yes.
Okay, and she calls out, brother, the doctor has sent more people to see you.
I am going to manfully not show any surprise at that first word.
And then she gestures you
Well,
forward
I might be
and
brother in the
leaves.
sense of brother of the church.
Yeah,
That's
he's the head of the church.
certainly how Penadir interpreted it.
Yes, but I'm going, that's the head of the church, he's father. She said brother, that's not religious. So yeah, I'm just going to deadpan that one.
Mm-hmm. So he basically takes off his gloves and hands it to one of his gauntlets and hands it to one of his supporters and walks in your direction.
Mm-hmm.
Says, so who is the gnome sent to me today? He says.
I do what I've done so many times before and introduce myself and the others.
Give me a diplomacy roll with advantage as your cloak billows.
As my cloak billows, because it's been a long rest since I last did that. Can you roll me 2d20s, please?
Okay, a 14 is the best you got.
So 20 total.
Alright, he looks you up and down and says, so you must be that Luell.
Yes. I hope there's very few of me around.
Well, I heard that there was one from one of my one of my Griffin riders.
Yes.
Though he talked more highly of someone by the name of Tidal, he turns and looks at the. So that must be you.
Yes, that's me.
So what do you need my assistance with?
We are investigating, have been investigating, what led to, well, sorry, I'll look at what's on the ground. This is actually the Gnome Caravan, correct?
This appears to be the remains of the Gnomish Caravan.
Yes. We've been investigating what led to what you're working on here.
This is one of the best kept secrets of the nation right now. You would not have been here without that letter.
Yes, but this is what we've been working on for a little while.
Yes, but be aware you may not be around tomorrow because you've been here.
Yes, we have heard of people disappearing and being attacked and so on.
Do you wish to investigate he gestures to the area, do you wish to investigate for yourself or hear what we have learned?
I look at Peredir at this point.
Well, Penadir would actually, he's immediately walk over to the remains of the caravan to have a look around himself first of all. His intent is do his own looking at what the evidence is there and come to his own conclusion before hearing others as to what they thought about it.
Give me an investigate roll.
Yes. So I'm having you do it because my investigation sucks.
No, mine's alright. 22.
Okay, having a look around, you realise that this caravan would normally have 6 wagons, and there's only the remains of 4. And that it is structured in a specific way that they're all supposed to connect, and you can tell that it's missing 2 of them because you're missing 2 of the connectors.
Mm-hmm.
And also looking at it, some parts of it have been slashed by something that could slice through metal as if it was flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So something was able to just completely cut cut through metal.
So,
And by the looks of things, they were.
Is there evidence
Go
of
ahead.
it being particularly hot?
It didn't look hot. It just looked like it just cut through as if it didn't exist.
So it's not like it's melted the metal or anything like that as it went through. So.
There are other areas that are melted. Some of it look as if it's been melted by acid, some by fire. Another section's just missing. So whatever hit it, completely clean cut in a circle.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Okay, well, I mean, obviously, okay, Penadier's, okay, he's doing his own search over the stuff. Whatever Tidal and Llewell are doing, as a player, I would expect you probably took the opportunity to talk to the cleric and find out the information, having been given the option of, do you want to know what's going on before you find out? Look at it.
well, that's the thing.
Penadier's rude enough to just go and look.
Well, the thing is, I looked at you because you're an investigator and I know it. I also know my skill at that sucks. So, but I'm really good at listening to people.
Yeah. But
So I'll let him tell me stuff.
Penadier didn't necessarily notice you looking at him because he immediately walked off and started looking at it. So.
And that's why I've got no problem with that.
So, Jeremy, while you're looking at this, you get a visitation from your spirit animal.
Oh.
Well, the raven comes.
The raven, you hear the sound of the raven even though you don't see it. And it whispers in your ear, Atruaghin was here.
Oh.
Great.
And then it's gone.
And then it's gone again. Obviously, yes, not the sort of visitation you get the opportunity to ask questions about. So, yes, that certainly changes the scope of the investigation somewhat from my perspective. So, yeah. But yeah. So I'm assuming I've got it, like, it'll probably take me at least 10 minutes, half an hour or something to be able to look around the caravan and things like that. So I'll let you guys do your conversation bit.
Okay.
Not enough time.
So while he's doing his look, the Baron goes into detail about all the various ways his caravan was attacked. He says they weren't all done from one person or one creature. They were attacked by a large number of what appeared to be fiendish in nature, and they were using magic that this region has not seen before. Magic that could bypass the wards of gnomes, which is not common.
Ooh. Okay. Bad in several directions.
The gnomes have a reputation of building defenses that cannot be breached.
Yes. And someone just broke through them.
And basically broke through their most heavily fortified caravan. The sort of thing that you're looking at, from what you know, shouldn't be possible.
Yeah. No, shouldn't. However, there are always ways to breach any magic. It's just finding it
He says,
and having enough power.
The power part is the problem. There is no one in this region, including Bargle, who has the power to do what has been done here.
So someone had a source of power sufficient to do the job. Whether it was active use, whether it was something they have and have used, or they've one of the Immortals is being directly active.
My god says that no god has dealt this blow themselves.
No.
Because they have forbidden to.
Yeah, if that had been true, it would have been unsettling in many different ways.
But the thing is, my god can also not tell me who did it, which has never happened before.
Hmm.
It has always been able to say who perpetrated a crime. We have nothing.
Oh.
We've been testing every piece of this place on a nightly basis for over a year and still not found a single perpetrator.
Wow.
Divination magic is not working. Whatever it is immune to divination.
And
it has left no trace, no touch of magic, no touch of itself anywhere amongst any of the wounded, dead, or carnage left behind. No tracks leading to the location, no tracks leading away from the location.
no.
And this site itself was about a mile in diameter for wreckage.
Wow. That's huge. If your god can't tell and can always tell, then whoever or whatever is behind this is one of the true ancients.
My god and my followers are truth seekers. We always see the truth.
Yes.
And I've built a city, as did my father, around the fact that we always see the truth. So what can you guys bring to this that we are unable to do?
I will see what Peregrine has been able to find out.
Okay, so I guess it's about the time when Peredir wanders back.
Or you can just split the name out.
And, right, so from Peredir's perspective, he'll be curious, saying, pretty well. Were you unable to recover the previous two caravans?
We could not find them. We believe that they may have been destroyed at the moment of the caravan's destruction.
And the survivors have been unable to give any further details or information?
The survivors have been unable to provide any form of coherence. We do not know what has caused their minds to break, but we have not been able to repair or restore them with any of the magic we know.
Okay. And yeah, with the interactions that Peredir's had so far, he's got no reason to disbelieve this Baron in any way. Apparently, been telling the truth as he claims to always.
He does have a reputation for being brutally honest.
Mm.
But okay, so that's just it. Like from, and again, I'm not saying Peredir's the knowledgeable at all, but from his insight, he's got no reason to doubt the information.
You've got no reason to doubt the information. Yep.
Okay. So, in which case, then, yeah, Peredir will mention, well, it is well known that as Antilochal is the purveyor of lies and deception
and corruption.
As you say the name, you hear a great cracking sound.
Oh!
And lights go out.
Wait, what?
Well, I guess first of all, confirming that they're from Peredir's knowledge of religion, he had no particular reason to fear saying the name.
Well, your god has taught you not to fear saying the name, but also you don't rely on magic.
No, okay. I was just confirming the fact that, because yes, if it was the sort of thing that he had reason to fear it, then obviously I wouldn't have said it. But yeah, from his perspective, yep, happy with that. So, yeah. And so with the lights going out, I'll mention, and it would seem his influence extends still.
And a moment later, you see a big glow coming from the Patriarch in front of you as he's holding up his holy symbol.
Yeah, that's why he didn't run anywhere. Standing next to him is probably safest right now.
Dimitri certainly, sorry, not Dimitri, Peredir also was basically preparing for an attack or result or anything like that. So.
And basically you see as most of the clerics are raising their symbol around you, and you hear a couple of screams.
What the? Okay.
So coming from any particular direction?
When some of the clerics move over in that area, you see that there are some of the people who were not fast enough were ripped apart.
Oh! I'm presuming ripped apart by demon things.
And you just hear some faint laughter in the background, which fade away.
So we actually we saw no enemy.
You saw no enemy.
But they did.
Well, they probably didn't really.
And the Baron sighs and says, "Well, at least we have a name now."
What?
We
with 20 teeth.
we can give you some information without saying the name again.
I have heard the name in the past.
Yeah.
It is a bane to civilized life.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yep. One of its titles is the destroyer of a particular civilization.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's no wonder we cannot find anything relating to it. Because they corrupt everything they touch.
Yep.
Lovely.
Which is also why you couldn't see the truth, because they corrupted that too.
He gestures for all the clerics to leave the warehouse. As this place is no longer safe, our wards have been breached.
Okey-doke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you step out into what would normally be a nice sunny day, and there is an eclipse at the moment.
Okay.
He looks up going, "This is not good." Our wards don't work during an eclipse.
Because sunlight.
And the Guardians have departed.
And the Guardians can only come at after sunset.
Hmm.
Yeah. We should prepare as best we can then. I apologise for inadvertently bringing forth that which I thought you'd already known.
He calls all the guardsmen to head towards the hospital.
Yeah.
And you see there three of the Griffin Riders take off.
Mm-hmm.
They can probably get there faster, but yes, to be true. Sorry, Perdidir will be returning in that direction.
You also notice that three of the Griffin Riders are currently on the ground.
Oh,
As in not moving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's check those guys out.
Yeah.
Most of them have their necks broken.
Who are they?
They are other Griffin Riders from the region.
Is any of them
Cassius?
Cassius?
None of them are Cassius.
Oh, that's good at least. Did Cassius?
How far were we actually from the hospital?
You were about 10 minutes.
Yep, okay. Perdidir will run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay, if you guys are stopping at the Griffin Riders, that's fine, but yeah, Perdidir running straight for the hospital.
For the three Griffin Riders that flew off.
Yep.
Can I roll perception to see if any of those are Cassius?
Yep.
Are they wearing the right uniforms even?
Let's hope so. That's a... What's that very good roll? That's... No, I don't know this shit. That's an 8.
You're not sure.
Okay.
But you see that all three of them light up in a nice golden ball.
Okay.
And they seem to be running into things as they're flying.
Oh.
So they're blinded?
That, as in they're providing themselves the equivalent of a sphere of protection,
Oh, right.
using their own holy
Yeah.
symbols.
Right.
Well, in fact, actually, Penadir starts to run and then starts to fly at twice that speed as he pulls out his whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So whistles off into the distance.
Okay, so you rush ahead. Jeremy, you arrive very quickly at the hospital, and you see there are sparks all around it in a dome.
Okay, but no apparent attackers.
There seems to be shadows in front of the main gates, engaged with the two knights there with glowing swords.
So, well, I will run forward to aim to assist the knight, rapidly untying the peace bond on my sword,
Mm-hmm.
and moving into attack.
Okay. So I will give you a attack roll.
Okay. Where are we?
Hiding over there.
17. AC 17.
Okay. You strike.
Okay. Yes. Since I haven't got any other things at the moment, I'll be using it two-handed, and it's in melee with the two guardsmen at the moment, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Or one of the okay, they are. So I can get sneak attack. So that's 10 points of damage from the weapon itself, and another 13 points of sneak attack damage.
Okay, so you
So
strike.
that's a +1 weapon.
You strike
So
it.
+1. Yep.
You strike it soundly, and as you
Mhm.
strike it, the shadow around it seems to fade for a moment, and
Yeah.
it appears to be a humanoid tiger
Oh.
made out of shadow, so a tiger spirit.
Great. Further evidence of actual presence. Got the
And
bloody tiger clan here.
and next to it is a jaguar spirit,
Ah.
and they both turn and look at you, and you realize they recognize you.
I was going to say, I recognise them, and yes, calling upon the power of Atruaghin to protect and myself and those of the town against these foul spirits.
Give me a religious roll. Religion roll.
Ooh. Lower 20.
12 plus 7, 19.
There is one reroll if you want to use it.
Yeah, do
Well,
it.
I'm also curious at the sense of whether it's being a spiritologist is coming into the factor of this as well. So, well, no, I don't know enough about this to know whether it's going to be important at this stage. So I'll stick with the 19.
Okay, so you do. They do seem to recognize your prayer to your god, and disappear with it.
Taking my prayer with them, or they just disappear.
Well, the prayer seemed to make them retreat. So technically, they took your prayer with them.
Yeah, it worked.
And the two guards look exhausted, their armor rent in many places, and you can see the sparks of whatever magic behind them fading.
Right, so we can
Right, so that,
see-
the sparks on the dome is behind, like that. They were in front of the dome in that sense.
Yep, and basically the dome itself seems to the sparks around it go away, and it hums for a moment and then disappears from sight again.
Yeah.
Right,
Still
So
intact.
we can tell the Baron that too.
So there was the two guards were still fighting, and so therefore there's no apparent
Breach.
victims in this location.
There doesn't appear to be any sort of breach, but you think
Obviously
that...
there might be damage, but the thing, yeah, okay.
And you can see the door behind them has a couple of holes in it, but it didn't actually get opened.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So, I will, yes. Do you remember me? I was here not half an hour ago. Well, actually, no, half an hour ago. Not an hour ago.
You do appear familiar, but we may not let anyone else enter until the Baron arrives.
Looking, pointing at the holes in the door, are you positive no one got past you?
Yes, the wards inside are still intact.
Ah.
It has 3 wards. They partly got through the first ward, but could not get through the second. The door stopped them. They damaged it, but they did not breach it.
It was.
Do either of these guys look particularly seriously wounded?
No, it seems their armor absorbed most of it, but it did cost the armor.
Okay.
As the blows seem to disenchant it.
Oh.
I'll take another look at my sword just to make sure it's still looking good.
Your sword actually looks like it's a bit stronger than it was.
Yeah.
Interesting. Apparently it's not just plain pain.
Maybe you fighting them off strengthened it with some of the power they'd stolen.
Or maybe I inadvertently powered the sword with my soul power as part of being a spiritologist in the attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone else rocks up at this point.
So 2 injured guys in rent armor, but alive.
Yeah.
Not badly wounded.
Yeah. And a couple of holes, and Caravan looking
as soon as the Baron arrives, well, I'll allow the guardsman to have the first interaction.
Yes. I'm also not going to reflectively heal these guys. I'll wait for their own clerics to do so.
They apologise to the Baron for being caught outside in the eclipse. They weren't expecting it.
So as soon as they don't open with something hit the barrier type stuff, Dimitri's going to move a step forward and say, I feel it's worth entering to confirm nothing got through.
He says, give me a moment, he says as he steps up to the barrier and pulls out, pulls one of his gauntlets on properly, and then touches the barrier with the gauntlet. At which point an opening appears. You have a feeling the guardsmen couldn't get in if they wanted to.
Yeah.
He then takes the gauntlet off to touch the door with his hand.
Yeah.
After he touches it with his hand, it seemed to open at his touch.
So controlling with the gauntlet.
Well, okay. Again, Penadier will allow others at least a moment's opportunity to enter first, but if no one actually goes in after the door's open, he will certainly be going in to confirm the doctor is safe and the other patients within the hospital are safe.
So within the doors, you see the smoking remains of 3 dead snakes.
So they tried to get through the wards and failed.
Well, they say that those holes in the door did allow something to get in.
Yes, and this was it, and it was probably radiant damage that did them in.
They have the basically they do look like they were charred to pieces.
Yeah. But again, not my heat.
But yeah, so is there any other moving people in here at the present time?
You can see
or in the foyer area?
there is a cleric with a holy symbol up inside the room on the other side of the barrier that you can see. It's a shimmering green barrier. When she sees the Baron, she asks him a question in a language you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have comprehend languages?
I do, but it takes me 10 minutes.
Then it seems to be a lyrical language that you have never heard before.
Yeah.
It wasn't Celestial, was it?
It was not Celestial.
Okay.
And he responds, and then she lowers the barrier.
Yeah. Yes, Celestial is definitely something I should pick up too.
Well, Celestial is something that Peridue understands right now, particularly after just having a recent visitation from the Raven.
Yes.
Okay, so it says no one has come inside the wards since darkness fell. And there is no, the wards around the gnomes have not been touched. Just don't say his name inside this place.
No. No, we're not going to call him in.
Yes.
And then the sunlight.
Peridue is not going to make any comment about the fact that the tribesfolk obviously have their own powers. That means that they don't have to fear saying his name, but he'll keep that secret to himself at the present time.
And then the sun seems to come out again as whatever was blocking it has gone.
So, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Peridue again, but still being allowing slightly slower now that the sun's actually out again at least. Will be still a bit uncertain about this. The guards were confident nothing had got the boards were up inside and therefore nothing got in. Obviously that wasn't quite correct. So he's still keen to try and get through the Gnomish and at least actually hear the doctor's voice. He's not willing to open the door as yet.
Yes.
Okay, as you go to the door where the gnome is, it's actually surrounded by a red pulsing glow.
All right.
I won't touch it, but I will call out.
He won't hear you until he drops the danger wards.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, because certainly a lot of big wards with the eavesdropping initially, so. Although he never said that didn't actually stop the sound coming in from outside, it just stopped sound going out from inside.
Yes, but if he stops the sound coming in, it means you can't be attacked with a sonic spell.
Yeah, oh no, that's cool too. Peridue will then at least look at do a wander at some of the other corridors nearby the hospital, just to see if there's any evidence of any other entries or wards.
While you're looking around, you notice that there are other clerics and paladins walking the halls, checking as well.
Mm-hmm.
All of them out with holy symbols and radiating a glow of some sort.
Yes. Certainly, I should point out, Peridue has not put away his sword.
And they are checking each of the patients. Apparently this is something they've had to do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And so no one seems to have been infected with this visit that is reported back to the Baron while you're waiting in the hallway with him.
Okay, well, when Peridue returns, he'll also inquire as to, okay, well, was the hospital the only site of attack? Aside from where we were previously located?
The hospital is normally the only site of attack.
Yeah.
There's something they have here that they don't want us to know.
The gnomes, you mean?
Yes.
quietly.
And now that we have a name, we might actually be able to get somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
there is certainly, I am, my name is Pelladeer of the tribesfolk, and I now know why Atruaghin has sent me here.
I am grateful you have come, because without you, my guards say we would not have had as easy a time. We have not been able to banish manifested spirits that easily.
Yes. My tribesfolk have some experience with such spirits.
And all of us have faced them.
Yes. Potentially we should, after you've confirmed for your own satisfaction that there is, that no other parts of the town have been infected, did you say?
Well, they say when we were not quick enough, he has infected patients who have then attacked at night. But they would shy from the radiance of our clerics and paladins.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly so, given the nature of their source. But perhaps we should go somewhere to talk in more depth.
We shall. So he says he calls over one of his aides and writes them something and says, go take this to you know who to do some work, he says. Says by tonight they should not be able to break this ward now, he says.
This will be tuned properly.
Yes. Okay. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy to call it a night, and that seems like an appropriate place to at least stop and recoup our thoughts. Now which way the conversation will go next.
Yeah.
Well, it's a chance to do part of the story I haven't had a chance to do before, so I'm happy with that.
Well, certainly not the manner of not the manner of story I was expecting from a random rumor about the equivalent of Santa's sleigh got attacked.
Well, this way, if someone's going to attack Santa's sleigh, they're going to be some sort of Grinch, aren't they?
That's true.
And you know of no bigger Grinch.
Yeah, and Axolotl is rather a Grinch, yes.
Yes. Okay then.
Okay,
Thanks very much, guys.
You guys have a good night. I'll see you again tomorrow, Jeremy.
See you tomorrow. See you next week or the week after for you other guys. So catch you then.
Okay, see you later. All. And I'll see you later as well, Paul.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much for joining in.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.